going on? What is going on, everybody? We out here in these streets, baby. Gang, 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 gang. Friday night, man. We out here. Thank y'all for joining us out here. We are at the helm, 9-9. We out here in this game. Thank y'all again for joining us, man. It's Friday night. It's 9 o'clock. We're about to bring in the weekend. You see he's got the red cup out already. So y'all know what time it is, man. We're not going to waste a lot of time. We're going to get into some good topics, actually. I think we got a lot of good stuff to talk about today, man. What you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's the most organic show ever. So it's always going to be good.
Always. So y'all get ready, man. Get your glasses ready. Get your glasses up. Get your shots ready and all of that. Without further ado, though, we're going to do some quick introductions for the few people who haven't been with us yet. So for those of y'all that don't know me, I am the great and terrible Trey, also known as the Punisher. And look, man, I'm excited about all of this. So ladies and gentlemen, as long as I can still call you that, welcome to the most organic conversation on the internet, shooting for cancellation early in the game. That being said, to my right, Forrest, talk to us, brother.
It's every day, and I'm funny. This is a deep time to an old shirt because they been riding a 10-game win streak. But yeah, as always, it's good to be here with you all. Cheers to the weekend. That's why we got the red cups up. We've been at it all day. But we, keeping it real regular. So we on Maker's Mark tonight. But we're gonna have ourselves a real good time. So mixing it well, but we also got them shots for when we're up to it. It's gonna be a fun time.
And we're gonna be up to it, man. You can never go wrong with the Maker's Mark, man.
Nah, it's just it's legitimate,
Yeah, straight up. Well, good stuff, man. But look, let's get right into it, man. We got a few things on the slate here for the day. I think I'm ready for my first up to it, man. I see you already. You gripping the bottle, man. We know what time it is. And for me, y'all, I'm only on my chill. I'm on my big shout out to Sav and Felicia. I'm on my peach parmesan. Anyway, that's the insider thing. Insider. But that said, though, oh, yeah, a big shot. Brandon, hey, man, listen, shout out to you, brother. Before we take this shot, big shout out to my man, Brandon Williams. Man, listen, for all y'all football fans out there, check them out. Just a Fan Podcast. I believe they are on every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, B. But, yeah, definitely, man, friend of the channel right here, friend of the show. Check them out, man. And you get some real good NFL analysis from these brothers who are fans, and they're not getting paid to pander. So listen to that. You're going to want to hear what they're talking about. Anyway.
Real. And that Popeyes, if it's a chicken sandwich, hopefully you ain't have to kill nobody to get it. And it better be spicy.
Yeah, that's right. You got to be the spicy one because the regular one, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of that. Hey, man, look, we've seen a few things just over the last week or so. What I want to talk about, I know you're a basketball fan, and it's just us right now. By the way, big shout out to Q and Richrda. They both had some personal things to take care of, so handle y'all business, fellas. Love y'all. We're gonna hold it down for you in the meantime.
POP, hold it down.
POP, hold it down. That was a wild video.
Listen, we've been into wild times. Like make you realize just how ghetto the world has been and for how long.
For big facts. It's not that this stuff is new. It's this that it's being recorded and it goes viral faster now.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So first one, up to it or down to it. All right. Ja Morant earlier this week said, and I believe I got this as a quote, I would cook him too. Him being his airness, Michael Jordan. Michael Jeffrey, he's already up to Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Ja Morant, Michael Jordan. You're our resident basketball guy, man. What's your thought?
That's why I had to take the shot. Listen, so there are two sides of me that understands this. One is there's a great level of delusion, just because Michael Jordan, in many eyes, is the greatest player of all time. You have a few people who feel like LeBron James will finish there, but even if we're talking 1A, 1B, or the likes of a Kareem or Jerry West, just like some of the greats from back in the day, like the Michael Jordan is on your Mount Rushmore, and I think John Moran is a hell of a player, but let's stop playing. Like Jordan had way too many all defensive awards, to average at a point 37 points per game. Could just do whatever he wanted. The flu game. He's Michael Jordan. So and we're still cooking at 50, still dunks at 50 plus. So I think Ja is great, but I think there's delusion on the one side. On the other side, you got to be that kind of confident in yourself. And I think everybody should carry that kind of confidence regardless of what you do. If you're a basketball player, if you're a chef, if you're, a teacher, if you got OnlyFans, you better have that kind of confidence, because that's what makes you wake up every day and do what you do. So I'm not mad at the confidence. I'm not, about to say anybody's going to beat me at anything. However, I don't know if I would step that far out to be like, I would cook him, because Michael Jordan.
Yeah, seriously, man.
Bruh.
Like, words mean things, and to cook the likes of Michael Jordan.
What are you doing?
I'm not sure. I think that might be a little bit excessive. Now, but props to cats like John Morant. Ja can ball. He's a baller. And Scottie Pippen actually made a point earlier this week too, that the competition or the skill set, the skill level of today's basketball players far exceeds that of players back in the day, which I agree with. But Michael Jordan so far exceeded everybody else then that while I do think it would make for a great matchup, and I love the confidence too. I'm with it as well. But man, I can't. No, that's Mike, man. It's Mike. It's Mike. It's Mike. What can we say, man?
Yeah, and I mean, if you were to put their highlight tapes up against each other, you're gonna see some incredible things. John Moran has done that 360 spinning layup. He's, he jumps out of this building, so he's got a vertical that mirrors Michael Jordan's. To two-hand block stuff on the backboard. He's done it all. He's almost eviscerated Kevin Love by trying to dunk over him.
He did.
Done that to several players. A bunch of different times. So his athleticism is out of this world. John Moran has great handle. A great game. Again, we just talking Michael Jordan, man.
It's because it's Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
It's because it's Michael Jordan. If almost everybody else that came before him, Mike or Kobe, if you said, saying Mike, that he would cook Mike and saying he would cook Kobe, to me, much as I like Ja, that's blasphemous, dog. That's blasphemous. I can't get down with that. I can't support that. I don't know. I like him. I like the kid, but I can't get down with that.
Yeah, but keep the confidence, 12. I ain't mad. Keep the confidence.
Yeah. I would love to see it. I'd love to see it. And y'all let us know in the comments what y'all think. John Morant, Michael Jordan. Place your vote. MJ for Michael Jordan's. Put Ja. If you think Ja would take it, man, let us know what y'all think. Yeah. I don't know, man. Who is there anybody in today's NFL and NFL? What? I'm ready for football season. Anybody in today's NBA that you think really would give a good, would make Michael Jordan be like, he might get me. Anybody that would really give that kind of competition.
Well, of course, Jordan's never going to say it. So that's, let's start there, because
that part. Yeah.
Even at his age now, he still believes he's better than half the people in the NBA, if not all of them. But I think, the likes of a Giannis Antetokounmpo would give him trouble, just because Giannis is 6'11", incredibly strong, incredibly athletic. So, that size advantage and athleticism.
In a one-on-one game, you think?
In a one-on-one. That kind of player. Kevin Durant could get some trouble, just again, that length and the kind of shooter that Kevin Durant is. I think that would be an interesting matchup. But of course, we would love to see the LeBron Jordan thing, but I would want to see like 2013, 14 LeBron, like LeBron that led the Heat past Boston. and came back.
Prime LeBron.
Yeah, like prime LeBron. But even at this age, of course, LeBron's been doing things that we've not seen from a person who's been in the league for 17, 18 years. So, like I still think that would be a formidable matchup even at this point. But I mean, like that's my very short list of people that I think would give him some go.
It did it again. My bad.
The auto-tune before, he got some gadgets. I can't tell.
Yeah, listen, man, trying to bring up the production value of Up to It, Down to It, little by little, week in, week out, as a matter of fact. But so yeah, if you randomly hear my voice start singing, then you know why. It's because I've been playing some games and messing around with some stuff. Y'all not really ready for this though. I'm done. I won't do it again. I promise.
I'm sorry. We're gonna have to turn on the disco lights and pop an ecstasy.
Yeah. Bro, did you watch Invincible?
I've seen like the first maybe 6 or 7 episodes of it.
So
but I didn't
there was a. Did you see the episode with the guy that had the auto-tune voice?
I think
He was
so.
the villain.
I feel like I did.
That's honestly, that's what that reminds me of. It was hilarious, man. Everything he said it was like T-Pain talking in his auto-tune voice though, but as if he was having a regular conversation. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and that would be annoying to me.
I won't lie and say that it wasn't annoying. It was pretty damn annoying. Yeah, so it was pretty annoying.
Hopefully, by the end of the episode, he was beat up.
Yeah. Invincible is a wild. If you watch The Boys, right?
The Boys, no.
Oh man,
I did get into a little bit of Invincible. There's too much stuff on TV to see. It's just not enough hours
today. Yeah. They need to. It's almost what makes you miss linear television. Like this comes on at this time on this day, and you kind of just prepare for it.
Yeah.
And now it's just everything's on demand, so you just pick something and watch it, and that almost creates a problem because I don't know what I'm gonna want to watch. My wife and I have this issue every night just about it. What you want to watch? I don't know. Pick something. What is like 1,000 things?
Because right now I'm binge watching Power Rangers, and of course because that was a 5-day-a-week series, like I'm like 50 episodes into season 1, and it's still season 1. Where now television shows now you get like a good 17 to 20 episodes a season. And you better be grateful. But no, Power Rangers, like the first season of Power Rangers, I'm like 50 episodes in and we're still in season 1.
That's a very good point. Seasons were a lot longer back in the day. That's interesting. Because you're right, a season now is what, 6 episodes, 6, 7 episodes?
Yeah, and they break, well, it's like it'll go like maybe like a max of 20, but like they do like half of it and then take a break and then come back to the other half, and that's only 1 day a week. Yeah, very different. Very different.
Yeah, it's ghetto, like we were saying last week. It's ghetto. Too many things to pay attention to, man.
So where we headed from here?
All right, let's see. Now this is a light up to it, maybe down to it. We're gonna see. Let's jump to this next thing real quick. That was the icebreaker. Here's one for you. We got disloyal friends, and then we have our special guest coming right after we decide if we're up to it or down to it on this one. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited to get her feedback and hear more about her business and what she does. So that that'd be great. But disloyal friendship. Let me explain. There was, I think did you share this one?
I feel like I sent it.
I think this one was you. Yeah, with the booty pad lady. The booty pad, when the booty pads ran away from her, they went scurrying away.
Which is wild in and of itself.
Just for the sake of context, I'm gonna show this to everybody, and then We can decide if we want to go in on this. Hang on, let me get this real quick. Bow. Yeah, I didn't know that was coming either.
Yeah, no, because I want you to see this.
Okay.
Yeah. There she is. There's a little preview right there. What's going on? Special guest. Here we go.
I'll be real ethnic.
That's gonna be some good stuff. Yeah. Y'all get ready. The party is coming, y'all. We about to have us a nice little time. If I can find this, yeah, here it is. All right.
Days went by and still I think of you. That's what that felt like.
Word. Yeah.
Real, real techno. Yes.
Wait.
This is happening.
Hold up a little bit. They ain't loyal. They ain't loyal.
You see this? Y'all see this?
I need to know where her friends are.
Can we truthfully say friends don't let friends let this happen?
We really don't.
Friends don't let friends butt up.
We don't, because first of all, she looks like she would have been fine without it.
Also,
yeah,
like she's
fine without it.
Yeah, she's double cheeked up already.
Already double cheeked up. Thank you.
That's not what the girls want.
So I'm just curious here, right? We kind of jumped the gun just a little bit. Shawty got to see a little bit of that. I'm just, you're
see it.
Right. I was like, I want to see.
That's okay. You need to see that, and that's fine. And you're a woman, I think, depending on what the definition of a woman is now. But I think I
identify as a woman.
You identify as a woman.
I do.
Well,
praise the Lord.
Yes.
praise the Lord.
Well, thank the gods for that, and I'm sure your husband is also excited to hear that too.
Not often I have to give my pronouns and identify, but for the sake of the team, just letting y'all know, I do identify as a woman.
This is true. When we're no longer allowed to say ladies and gentlemen anymore, she'll still be a lady.
Disney World stopped. Not that y'all asked, but I think
Disney World did stop.
That's
Disney
true. And she would know.
Yeah. They stopped the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls thing in the morning.
They did. I think Brandon, you in the comments, I think you're the only one still able to say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, because even the mouse stopped. Anyway, my point about you being a woman that identifies also as a woman, you have friends.
I do.
Would you?
I would not. I would not. I, under no circumstances, would.
Would they?
They would gather me.
Sis, your butt's up.
Listen, first of all, we're not making it out the house. We're not making it out the pregame.
If we can't,
like that.
If we can't even be sure that's not going to happen, you're not coming out the house.
Everything gets a twerk test. If you can't throw that thing in that thing, then we're gonna have to let you know about it.
Is that what all the dancing and before the party? Is that what that is? Those are twerk tests.
It warms you up. You got to get your pictures. You got to find your angles for the night. Make sure you look good from the angles. You got to find out who's gonna be flicking you up and who you can't trust with the camera. Because some people, they just be pressing the circle and they don't be focused. I don't know what they're looking at.
They ain't loyal.
They're not. It's like they don't want the shot.
Loyal.
They don't want you to get the shot.
It's all about the shot.
And so, no. And at some point, when you go to turn and look over your shoulder, your friend gonna go, "Ooh, girl, come here," and you're gonna get gathered before we go out. Because
I bet wrong one.
That thing.
Yeah,
it rose up, and she didn't need it. It already didn't fit. You can't convince me that it fit when she got out the car.
Like you gotta feel, and you gotta feel that
on your back.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Like, does she not feel that? I don't know. I don't identify as a woman, so I don't know if that feels weird. I'd imagine it does.
But I feel like you ain't even got to be a woman. Like if I got extra ass on my ass, I feel like I'm gonna notice that.
And you feel your undergarments. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what the material. You're gonna feel your square, your undergarments, your layers. You feel it in some capacity, and she had to feel that the bottom was halfway up and no longer tucked the way it was.
Maybe she drank too much. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she didn't feel it.
Or maybe she did ecstasy.
You know,
she might have done ecstasy. I feel like ecstasy is the drug of the night. I don't, I mean, not for us.
That's not my hope.
Maybe for you.
I don't do drugs.
But, it's the second time we've mentioned it though, so I feel like ecstasy might be maybe.
I only want to point out for the record, I don't do drugs, only weed. That's it. All right.
See, when I say I don't do drugs, I only drink. I be talking about liquor. I've never heard someone say I don't do drugs. I learned something.
I would argue that alcohol is more of a drug than weed.
Cat Williams said,
I wouldn't disagree with you, but the way my bank account is set up and my direct deposit, if I wanted to keep the liquor.
Cat Williams said weed is a plant. It's not a drug, it's a plant. If you just so happen to light it up, it might have an effect or two.
That part. With that said, let's go ahead. Y'all have already heard her talk a second. Let's go ahead and introduce our special guest for the evening. There she is in that yellow. Let's go, baby. I'm telling you, one of these, when we get bigger, I'm gonna show everybody what happens when the transitions go on, how we be jamming for real. Y'all don't be seeing that. Listen, we be jamming.
And I'm telling you, it sounds like so icy every time it starts. Ooh,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It made me want to throw up hand signs, but I didn't want to get called out and go viral for all the wrong reasons.
For all the wrong reasons.
It has the things that makes you want to do the signs.
Twist up your fingers and wear dark blue and,
the colorful sign language that you're not supposed to use, even if you know the words.
Even if you know the words. Especially if you know the words.
Even if you can speak in tongues, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
That's never mind. I ain't gonna say nothing else. I'll bring that up later. But man, listen, Richrda, it's great to have you on. Welcome to Up to It, Down to It. We are excited to have you. Real talk. Hold on. Let's get you some. Yeah! All y'all in the comments better be clapping too. Damn it.
Yes, let's give them balls.
Richrda, welcome to the show, girl.
Thank you. Glad to be on camera. I'm always like in y'all comment section.
Yeah.
Being real extra in the comment section. So it's nice to, how y'all doing? I ain't got to use my Twitter fingers tonight.
There you go.
There we go. Y'all get to hear her live and in living color, in person, unfiltered. Did she take a shot yet? Did we up to it for her yet?
Wow.
We're here. We gotta do what we do. And the rest of y'all, by the way, while we pouring these shots, do me a favor. Hit the like button, share button, hit the subscribe, share it. Definitely tell your friends, hop on, have a shot with us. Friday night, y'all ain't doing nothing, no way. You sitting around watching Netflix. Hop on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Get at us, man.
As the ignorant say, you might as well.
You might as
well. What the That's gonna be a topic. Is the kind of shit that people say out loud. They type it.
You interrupted my shot.
Sorry for your loss.
Messed up. I'm not sober enough for this.
Defiantly be tripping people up, but I'm gonna leave them alone. They be mean indefinitely, but I'm gonna mind my business.
I hate it. So, so are you a bit of a grammar police?
I am.
Yeah.
I do my best not to speak on it, but my brain, Kev will tell you the way my brain processes information. I can be very aggy.
Apostrophe R-E. Now your apostrophe R-E. Come on. Come on. Do better. Do better.
That really bothers me.
Grammar are like things, real things.
That one really bothers me. I hate the your and there is the other one, man. When you're talking about people and they put THERE, man, I hate it. I hate it.
Be having them in chokehold. Be like, baby.
Listen, on a professional sites though, you know.
There's nothing like a professional email coming out or something being published, and you're just like, who's your editor?
Who okayed this?
Who let you press it? Did you not get the red squiggly line under it that said,
because it be there.
It do. It really be there.
It really do.
It be right there. And they don't right click or even just highlight it and get the options for the correct, like.
There's so many ways to do it. Like, there's so many ways to literally check it.
And you be wondering how teachers became teachers when you see their emails.
The stress, the concern.
Is
it be the elementary teachers and I be questioning, like, I get that this is low level learning. No, however,
right. Don't do my baby like that.
Don't do that.
Right.
Lead by example, please.
Not my baby.
But yeah.
You know, you gotta. I feel like a requirement to be teaching people is you have to be able to, read and write English and math. You also need to be able to math to some extent if you're going to teach math.
You would think. You know. You would think.
You would think but they see. I went up for like, let me go be a teacher. They get their student loans paid off, and I'm decent with kids. And when they asked me for my SAT scores from like 12 years prior, I was like, oh, wow, is this the baseline? You're asking me how I performed on a test at my peak pinnacle. I just studied for it for 4 years moment. Y'all aren't screening no harder. But I found out there were other tests, and that's when I respectfully declined. I was like, never mind.
It's ghetto.
Never mind.
It's ghetto.
Ghetto.
It's ghetto.
Certs and stuff.
It's ghetto. It's ghetto.
I'm not here for none of it. Not here for none of it. All right. Charlotte, I got some questions for you.
I might have some answers.
All right. I hope you got a couple, one or two at least. So tell us and tell the people listening a little bit about Soul Mom blog and about you and your journey, where it came from. Spotlight is all on you, girl.
Ooh, hot seat. So Soul Mom blog is a shortened version of Shades of Momming, where we're embracing the shades basically of momming. Momming comes in a lot of different ways. You have, stay-at-home moms, working moms, single moms, married moms. You have older moms, grandmoms, all types of moms. Just getting their perspective on their experience so that we can really communicate more about what that experience, that day-to-day looks like. My journey into motherhood was honestly traumatic. There was everyone had an idea of what a mom was, or, you grow up having this narrative pushed on you about how you should feel about being a mom, being pregnant, and what these things are supposed to feel like. And so when I did not feel those things, I thought I was broken. And I thought something was wrong. And there was this level of expectation going in from all of like pop culture and even in the community. Like growing up, you don't really hear people or moms complaining about their job. You just always see my mom worked this hard to get it done, or I watched my mom get it done. But no one was talking about what happens when mom closes the door, when mom's taking that shower and is taking an extra 5 minutes, having a breakdown. What does support look like? And also advocating for yourself. So my platform really gives voice to moms to express what motherhood looks like to them, what it means to them, how their experience is going. I talk through my mom, my parenting style. It has evolved. I'm a firm believer in that you are able to change your mind. I went into motherhood with a certain mindset of this is what it's going to be because of my personality type. And then I have grown tremendously since then. So just giving voice to those experiences, to those truths, because motherhood really is what everyone says it is. It really is.
Yeah.
If that's not straight,
big shout out to the moms out here. I just want to see that. Got to shout out all the moms because the moms get it in, man. I see some of the stuff. You mentioned some of the support. He's back. Y'all see him slide in like he never left. That's how we do.
Just had to give her a full spotlight,
There you go. There we go. Look, man, we're equal opportunity over here. You know what I mean? But that's a very, very valid point. I see it, of course, in my house, and if Richard was on, he'd be able to talk about his wife and stuff that he sees. You guys, moms, y'all, it's a different world. And I love that you mentioned support for when the mom's about to break down, or when she takes those extra 5 minutes. So let me ask you, what are some of the things that you suggest to kind of take care of yourself, or kind of get through those odd momming time?
Definitely normalizing taking your space, whether you have to hold 30 minutes or an hour of space for yourself every day. And sometimes that means you have to get up earlier. It doesn't mean you have to get out of bed earlier, but sometimes you have to wake up maybe an hour before everyone else to get that peace, or you're staying up, I call it mommy hour, either an hour after everyone or an hour before. Definitely defining what peace and successful motherhood is for you. If you allow society to define it outside of reason, because there are some things that are very reasonable that is like, don't do that. But, within reason, define it for yourself. Stay-at-home moms have just as much, of a load as a working mom. Just because it's different doesn't mean it's more or less. It just means y'all still have the same 100 chips. They're just spread differently. And then navigating how to balance everything. So definitely take time for yourself. If you can afford it, get a therapist, go to therapy, advocate for yourself. There's a difference between stating a need and then advocating for yourself. So saying I need rest is not the same thing as saying I need you to take the kids for 2 hours so I can have some peace. Because rest can be defined differently. Some people say go to sleep. Some people say sit by yourself. Some people say go to Disney World. They don't even pay me to promote.
It's going to find its way into every conversation.
They don't even pay me to promote them. But, it's just, it looks differently for everyone. And do your best in your context. Who I was as a mother when I was pregnant, 20, 21 years old, is not the same as who I was as a mother, having a newborn 2 weeks into my final semester in undergrad. Is not who I was, living with my in-laws. Is not who I am now, living in our own space. Like, my context shifts how much bandwidth I have, and I honor my bandwidth. And I encourage moms to honor their bandwidth. If the ball won't drop, if it won't break, if it drops, let it fall. Like, there are days we're just going to have to say, you know what, this Happy Meal is just as good as lasagna that I baked from scratch. They ate. Like sometimes you're just going to have to choose that. And it's okay if that's your context. Sometimes you're going to have to choose the TV, like, oh, y'all going to get some Bluey. And I'm going to get some peace.
Because I need it.
Because, right. Yeah. And finding ways to pour from overflow. It's a lot.
Yeah, I think that's huge, actually. I think those were some gems, not only for the moms. I think that's a gem for everybody. You mentioned, taking, in the beginning, first thing was taking time to yourself, right? Taking the time to, relax and gather yourself and center. We talk about that a lot, as you know. We talk about the importance of, you being your best self when you go out here in these streets, right? So I think that's a huge point. Not enough people, self-included, admittedly, not enough people actually take the necessary time to recenter and regather and get themselves together. And I think that's huge, especially if you're a young mom, or a mom of young kids, I should say.
Because they wild.
Listen, wild for respect. Yeah, definitely. I've had to learn to meter my expectations and to also understand the difference between meeting their needs, meeting their wants. If their needs are met, it's okay for me to then focus on my needs. Yeah. It's okay that they're getting what they want if I'm focusing on what I need. Like their needs are met. It's fine. It's okay. It's,
Right.
there'd be some mom guilt tied up in doing what you think you should. You finally step out for the first time and you're like, oh, I got to keep checking on the babies. No, baby. Don't take you some time because, like, let your brain rest. Go have some fun. The baby's going to still be there.
So let me ask you. So have you, as a mom, have you found yourself? I imagine this is coming from experience. So what's the differences that you've seen when you don't take that time versus when you do?
Definitely not having the patience. First thing I had to do was multitasking. Um, Splitting my attention just stopped working when I had a lot of things splitting. And so when I'm focused on one task, and that's what we're doing, we're playing the game, we're having family time, not splitting that time. Because if they're not getting my full attention, they're going to feel it. So if I'm splitting that between answering work emails, they still don't feel like they got what they needed, but I've still burned X amount of energy. So if I can just give them that direct time and then transition, I have the patience and the boxes and the compartmentalization to say, I have done this. I have given you your time. It's now time for me to go do this. When it starts blending and blurring lines, that's when you start depleting yourself and overextending yourself because you feel like, oh, I poured a little bit here, but then I spent here, so let me double back and go here.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, you would have been more effective focusing on that one thing at that one time, allocating time for it, and then saying, all right, I'm going to switch. Because the patience level is exhausting. It's very exhausting. So your patience can go down if you aren't pouring from that overflow and being attentive and being intentional.
I hope y'all are getting these gems right here because she is dropping some serious knowledge. And like I said, not just for moms. I think this is good applied, applicable knowledge, as I say, good applicable knowledge for everybody, no matter where you are. But in particular for moms.
Yeah, no, of course, Richrda is younger than me, but she's, one of the persons that I've always looked up to, just for the way that she carries herself has always been mature, which, of course, maturation has a lot to do with our experiences. I was going to say a lot to do with our experiences. So, necessarily the most ideal, but she's just got a great head on her shoulders. So, when it came time for me to be a father, a lot of I found myself incorporating into the way that I am with K2 was a direct reflection of watching her with my god kids, and just the way that she like treats them. She calls them little humans, so I'm gonna actually have her like elaborate why she calls them little humans. But to understand like that they're people, because I think people lose that concept that because they're your children, like they're not people. No, they're people, and they're actually unregulated people. As adults, like we're constantly trying to regulate and still struggle, but they're like little humans are completely unregulated. So just to find like ways to work with them, because it's a work in progress. I just owe a lot of that to Richrda, so I'm grateful.
Hey, that's beautiful, man. Good stuff. And look, everybody, if you haven't checked it out already, look down bottom, scrolling down at the bottom, check her out, soulmomblog.com. There's a lot of good stuff there. I know they wasn't trying to let her be great, apparently, these last couple of days. So, give it a day or so, what happened to the page is started being
it crashed. Someone put an order in at the end of last month, and I noticed something was wrong because it didn't automatically trigger the order going through, and something told me to just go follow up on it. I followed up, it didn't go through, so I made sure to reach out to that person. Got them their things. They actually reached out today and tagged me in some stuff. I was like, "Oh, I got my merch." I went on this past weekend, to try to freshen it up because I knew I was gonna be here, and I was like, we're gonna be real cute, we're gonna be summertime fine on the summer. And it was not that. So I'm working with the web hosting site and the designer of the site to figure out what's going on, where's the disconnect causing the page to crash. Some of the merch is still seen on my Instagram, which is at SoMomBlog. And then also, if you see something, you can either DM me or email me at hi@somomblog.com. Very simple email. Everything is just very consistent and uniform. SoMomBlog.
Hi, like H-I.
Yeah, hi.
And hi.
H-I, like hi.
And not like what Trey is.
Yeah, no, not that. Just hi.
Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. It be your own people. Be your own people. Do I look high?
You look happy, and we're here for it.
I'm not saying your eyes are closed. They just not all the way open.
Damn, it be your own people, bro. Be your own people. Diming you out on YouTube.
I'm just saying, you got it in your hand when you lift your hand up.
They says I don't do drugs.
They can see it.
I don't do drugs. Only weed.
And see, weed.
That's it. Real weed too. I don't do that stuff that be having stuff laced in it.
The most organic.
Thank you. Say it again for the people. Man, again for the people in the back. Doggone it. The most organic. Only the most organic. Damn it.
First of all, that shot made me hot. Between that shot and them lights.
We got it.
That ring light is mean.
Listen, I appreciate it though. We brown skinned people.
Yeah,
especially people who aren't as brown as we are.
And it's like this. It's like got my muscles popping and everything. Like we lit.
I ain't got no. I got a little bit of makeup on, but I ain't got like a full face on. And we cute. Like we cute. Okay, look
at that, man. We're gonna go and get them some shout out time real quick. Look at them out here posing,
bruh.
Yeah, there we go. This is beautiful.
No, so why do you call your little humans little humans?
So that was a verbal reprogramming that I had to do. Some people say, speak things into existence. I started my momming journey with a different mindset of, they need to be obedient, they need to do what I say, it's supposed to be this way. But the more I sat with it, the more I was home, because let's be real, I was a stay-at-home mom, working from home, staying from home, whatever. I was doing school from home. I was a mom in the house. It really came a time where I realized that I was losing my temper. Now, they were not in danger. They were fine. Don't go calling them people to show up in the white jacket and the clipboard. They fine.
Because we're not going to answer the door anyway.
We don't answer the door for strangers. But I realized that they really are little humans. And it was one day that, I will be honest, I saw it play back out. After it happened, I yelled at them and I was frustrated. And they were just looking at me brokenhearted, why is my mom yelling? And that's when I realized, there really are little humans. And humans, we have our flaws, we make our mistakes. But then putting it in the context, let's really put it in context. My youngest has been here for 5 years. With the average life expectancy being somewhere in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. He's been here for 5 years. The audacity of me and the arrogance of me to expect him to handle himself in a way that's convenient to me. When in reality, I need to handle him in the best way for him. And that requires human and not property. And we don't like to say that we look at children as property, but between property and pets, the blind obedience, the always having to be docile, to always having to be pleasant, to not disturb you, to never be inconveniencing, that's property in pets. They're people, and our job isn't to control them. It is to give them an environment to be their best selves. And when I started changing my language from children, because that was always associated with a lower subclass, to humans, that helped me reprogram. That helped me shift how I handled them, how I advocated for them, because I always honored their boundaries, their no's. I made sure I focused on their emotional intelligence more than I did their academics. I feel like academics are going to come regardless. You're going to have that, but you're not going to always learn emotional intelligence, self-advocacy, emotional regulation and management. They can tell you how to bring themselves down from a 10. They can walk themselves through it. And I hold space for that, because if I, as a human, have my days, have my hormones, have my feelings, and have days that I don't want to regulate. I want to cope. I don't want to regulate. I don't want to sit here and go through the count of 10 through your 5 senses. Take a deep breath. It's really not that bad. Step up. Like, you don't want to go through all of that. Sometimes you want to pout and cry it out. And so I made it a point to give them the language to do that. So little humans, because they are humans. They're not property. They're not pets. They're people.
That's good. That's good stuff. Like, real talk. Like, that's beautiful. And that's something definitely to remember. I think a lot of us, even as adults, if we can think back to when we were kids, I know I certainly at points as a child felt silenced and unheard.
Mm.
So, and now, and my wife reminds me all the time when we're dealing with our kids that, sometimes they need a second. They got to process, they got to find the words. They don't have the words. Like, our daughter will be 4 in a week and a half or so, about week and some change or what have you. Yeah. When you saw in the pre-show, she'll be 4 soon, and she's brilliant, knows some words and stuff, but there are definitely times where you can tell she's just having a moment. She's just feeling away, and she's got to figure out a way to work through it. And it's tough sometimes as a parent to pause and say, hold on, they're going through their little feelings. Because as an adult, you look at their kid and say, well, these are kid shit. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to look at it like that and dismiss it almost as, they're crying because they ain't getting no candy. Big deal. You know what I mean? But their feelings are real. They are legitimate, and they have to be taught. To Kev, your point about them being unruly children, they have to be taught and programmed essentially, like, how to deal with feeling sad. You know, we deal with that with Amaya a lot. You're right. Since she was 2, been able to kind of count herself down, and okay, shout out to Daniel Tiger, because that's what a big part of what taught her that, right? But we were able to teach her that, and now she, yeah, that's right, that's right. But there are some times where you don't feel like doing that. You're just feeling sad. And so it's important for us to recognize in our younger people and our children when they also feel that way. And you can, you can create a space still with boundaries too.
Absolutely.
And just because you're giving them the space to cry it out doesn't mean you're giving them the space to, throw shit and break stuff. You know what I mean? But you absolutely giving them the space to kind of get their feelings out. And I'm with you 1000% on that. That's good stuff.
Yeah, definitely validating their feelings and making sure that they feel heard and valid in that, because me knocking over, a cup, that's not a big deal. So I'm not going to make it a big deal if they knock over a cup. And training myself and reprogramming myself, and even the people who are frequently around them, natural consequence in life, if you knock over a cup, you pick it up and you clean up your mess. You don't get yelled at, berated, shamed. So why are we doing that to people? Because they are still people.
Yep.
And more often than not, the people who do that aren't yelling at who they need to yell at.
And there probably is that man or woman in the mirror.
That or it's their
somebody,
boss.
or somebody who they're mad at but don't, because they're the same size as them, because they're an authoritative figure, they don't want to bring it to their doorstep. Children are easy.
Yeah.
Children are easy to attack because they're little humans, and so they're like when you're standing over top of them and yelling at them, it's a very dominant position to be in. So
it is.
It's easier to do that than it is to talk to an adult human that way.
Yeah, that's real. Something to keep in mind. And sometimes things like that just happen. To your point earlier, Richrda, you were, found yourself yelling at your kids and took a step back and said, oh, wait a minute. I need to regulate. I need to get myself together. I think that's great. That's a point of self-accountability that I think a lot of people miss.
Yeah. And I apologize to them. And I don't do I'm sorry. I do, they got yelled at this week. And again, I saw myself going up, but could not come down fast enough. And so it came out. And I yelled. And I yelled. And I leave them love notes every morning anyway, because I typically leave for work before they get up and they're home. So they read the notes in the morning, and I let them know, have a great day, love you. I'll be home around this time. One of my babies got separation anxiety sometimes, and so she'd be like, when are you coming back? One time she took a nap and I left and stayed at a hotel. I had a staycation, self-care. Did not account for how that would affect her, and she has separation anxiety. But the apology was, I apologize for yelling at you and hurting your feelings. No one is supposed to speak to you that way, especially your parents, who are supposed to be your safe space. That's not how you talk to people, even when you're upset. And I will do better. I will do better. I want I love you, and that, that has nothing to do with my love for you. People who love you should not treat you badly or make you feel bad. We will work together on getting done what we need done. And then went on to tell them, do your best, because we have 3 jobs as parents, and they have 3 jobs as our little people. Listen, do your best, and be kind. That's their job. 3 jobs. You listen, you do your best, you be kind. That's it. Anything that I require of them has to tether back to one of those 3 jobs. Our job is to keep them safe, help them be their best, and to love them. Anything we do, and they feel like they want to hold us accountable, because they will say, you're not supposed to yell at me. That's not how you love me. I don't like that. At 5 and 7, they will say that.
Interesting. All right. So I'm going to challenge that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, if we're being honest, kids need to be yelled at, and they need to be snatched up by the scruffs of their necks.
Gotcha, bitch.
Straight up.
I wasn't ready.
So what I'm saying is that there are times, I'm not saying it should be all the time, but I guess my question for you is, do you feel like,
yes.
Well, okay, all right. So how do you handle those times? Let's do it that way. How do you handle those times?
If I do it, it's because it's tied to one of my jobs, and more often than not, it's tied to keeping them safe. My son ran off in Disney's Animal Kingdom, a massive park, because he was not getting his way, and he ran in a park full of people from all over the world because he was not getting his way. So we don't have time to go through the conscious, gentle, kind, present. No. Because my job is to keep you safe, my first and foremost priority is to grab you and remove you from the dangerous situation.
Straight up.
From there, we had a conversation at this level, because we don't speak down to them. We come down to their level and have conversations with them so that they can feel like talking to someone who towers over you just changes the dynamic of the conversation. I feel that as an adult. So I can only imagine how that feels as a little human. And these are the people who control your access to like food. And so we come down to their level, and we had the conversation in the park, and the conversation went like this. Why did you run off? Because you weren't doing what I want you to do. We weren't doing what I wanted to do. I wanted to go look at whatever this animal was, and because there's live animals in Animal Kingdom. I wanted to go back and look at this animal, and you guys weren't listening. I said, well, did you use your words? No, I wanted to go there. I said I was ready to go. But we're here as a family, and you understand we're a family. Like, yeah. I said, well, do you not want to be a part of the family? We're here to protect you. Like, we were going to do the next thing. It just wasn't your turn yet. We take turns, right? Yeah, but I don't want to do it that way. I don't want to do it that way. I said, okay, well, what do you want to do? And his answer was to go do whatever right. I said, well, this is what I think we should do, because my job, and we went through, what is your job? And he said, to listen and to be kind and to do my best. I said, well, were you listening? He said, no. I said, well, were you doing your best to listen? He said, no. I said, it sounds like you weren't doing your job. Well, you're not being kind. Wherein my job doesn't say I have to be kind to do my job. My primary focus is to keep you safe, help you do your best, and to love you. Love is a lot of things, and kindness is included in that. But if my job is to keep you safe, I cannot love you into safety all the time if you're not listening. So my love is not going to look how you want it to look, because you're also not doing your part of the agreement. So now my love looks different. My love initially looked like holding your hand and keeping you near me, and then you ran. So now my love looks like grabbing you to keep you safe and removing you from that dangerous situation, and then returning your bodily autonomy to you by releasing you and coming down to your level and having a conversation. The compromise was we have the wrist leashes, tether things. They didn't want to hold our hands. They eventually communicated because our hands were hot. Understood. They wanted the freedom to walk a little spaced out from us. Understood. We found common ground. But there are some other techniques of parenting that would have said you should have beat them into submission. What was he going to get from that experience that he didn't get from what I did? And that's where patience comes in. Having the patience to remove myself and say, this was a big deal to him because this is also his vacation and he's also excited and overstimulated. He's never been to this place. He just saw something he liked and did what I expect at that time a 4-year-old to do. And he got, it was explained. He understands, and we resolved.
I think, it won't always be perfect because, again, we're human as parents. We're constantly learning. We're constantly adjusting. Mm-hmm. And, even going into parenthood, like I read all the books. I, asked a million questions. Like by the time we were probably, 5-6 months in, the doctor would look at me before she looked at Jakara and was like, do you have any questions? Because she just expected a million questions to come from me because I wanted to be prepared. But there's nothing that prepares you for
your kid.
Yeah, for your kid. Like you can read about what it could look like, and then your kid will literally do the most to not look like anything that you read. So like we're going to make mistakes.
Right.
But I think, like Richrda said, the actual ability to apologize, we have to get away from our own ego as parents and people. And that's my constant battle. Is it an inconvenience to me and my ego, or is it legitimately something that needs to happen a certain way? So I was telling K2, come on, let's go brush our teeth to get ready for bed. He didn't stand up and walk to the bathroom. He rolled, rolled. And I wanted to yell because I'm like, by the time you finish rolling, it's going to be bedtime. But he did what I was asking him to do. It just didn't look like what I wanted it to look like. So he's not wrong,
Right.
And just taking into account at that point of the night, you're getting ready for bed. They're tired, and this. So just understanding where they are, a tired person, even us, when we're tired, we're disgruntled, we're irrational, we're all of the things. So again, a child who cannot regulate their emotions, when they're tired, they're going to be even more irrational, even more likely to not listen, even more likely to do something that doesn't look like what we wanted to. So I have to tether my expectations in that moment because I already know now that bedtime never looks the way that I expect it to. And sometimes it will go perfectly, but more often than not, I'm going to get some stuff between the living room and the bathroom, between the bathroom and the bedroom. It's going to be wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. All parents. This next shot, I was about, y'all on the same page as me. This shot right here.
For all my people in the struggle.
Yeah.
All the parents out here. This one is for you. What'd you say?
She said, I don't know what I was thinking, but I apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we got to get Ricky in on some of these topics, though, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I could talk parenting all day, and I really would. So y'all might want to hop back into the schedule.
But let's talk some ethnic things.
Ooh, ethnic. That's
fun. Boy. All right. Ethnic things.
Beyonce's internet been on fire.
You know what? It really has. And I heard
Beyonce. Would you say it again?
Beyonce made a TikTok. I'm almost certain she's a million plus followers in at this point. She put her whole discography on it. That's what I read.
See, I'm not on TikTok, so I don't be knowing, and I'm not on Twitter. Like, I'm nowhere. I'm like that old person.
I will never leave Twitter again. Like, Twitter is
the T.
Twitter's it. Or no, I know.
Reddit is what it is for me. I'm not on Twitter, but I am on Reddit, and Reddit has a lot. It's a lot. I appreciate it. It gives me my social media fix while also giving me my news and making me feel productive.
I think I was thinking of Wayfair. Is Wayfair the one that's like with sex trafficking with the like mini fridges or freezers?
I think it was them. Yeah. They like had these like packages, these items for sale that were like really weird.
But they were like really large items, but they were sex trafficking.
They were overpriced.
Also,
$15,000 for a chest.
$19,000 for a fridge freezer, like a basic,
like the white kind. It ain't even stainless steel. It was weird.
It's human.
Wild.
It's human. We'll come back to it another day.
We'll circle back.
We got to do some more Googles, but it was a thing. All right, these topics. Fix your face.
What's up? What's next? This is what happens when you shoot makers, and we should have just done the ensign, but I was like, ooh.
I left it up to her, and here we are.
And that's why I apologize.
Yeah.
What just happened, yo? What was that? What? Where was this topic? I needed to know about this topic. What is this? What? No.
This was like a year ago, so we weren't here yet.
This was like the throes of the pandemic before you could come outside. And people were just unearthing all types of information. I think that's why they let us back outside. They was like, y'all getting nosy.
Y'all you're discovering too much.
Y'all are collaborating on social media.
Yeah, we were on a Rothstein's Island at this point.
Like, at this point, no.
Hey, yo. I don't know what to say right now. Okay. All right. Okay. How many shots in are we? 3?
Ish. Our drinks have also had,
Definitely. Yeah. Okay. All right. We got
lemonade. You never poured anything in my cup.
Are you not an adult?
There's nothing in your cup?
I'm here. That's part of the I'm an individual when I come here, and I am a damsel. I do nothing.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah. That's fine. Man law. That's cool.
Thank you.
That's cool. We take care of ours.
I'm gonna send her back to her husband, Lusty, though.
All the makers mark. All of them.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Mr. Howard.
You're welcome.
He may actually be on here. I sent him the link.
You're welcome.
Hey, babe.
You're welcome.
Hey. Speaking of which, we didn't do this last week. Date night, I think, was last week, wasn't it? Was that last week? How'd it go?
It was wonderful. Our typical date nights are usually one of two things. Either we go to Baltimore Comedy Factory and see a comedian, or we go go-kart racing. Those are like our two things that we do.
Where y'all be go-karting at, though?
We legit just go right here to Crofton to the one that looks like somebody's homeboy paved it and threw some tires up.
Went today.
It's so fun.
Went today.
It's so fun.
It is.
It is a very low maintenance date, and you have a bunch of fun. It's very like competitive, but not too competitive. Open air. Summer nights be super lit. You're not supposed to drink and drive there, but like.
But who are we?
But
I'm not the boss of that establishment or you. You are your own person.
I took a gummy and drove, so.
You know what?
As you should. As you should. I feel like if you've ever, I was just related to Mario Kart. If you ever, drunk and played Mario Kart, or ate a gummy and played Mario Kart, basically, as far as I'm concerned, you're probably good to go. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real. So, the drinking and driving rule, ain't nobody really trying to get none of that. So, hey, Sav, I know you're in the comments. I need you to Google that. We need to make that. We need to make that happen. Yeah. Anyway.
But yes, date night was lit. We saw Tony Baker, and his opening acts were amazing.
Oh, my man.
He's hilarious. We watched like old Def Comedy Jam stuff. Like, comedy is our thing, and it's the only thing that we've done like exclusively just us. Like
Nice.
it's never been a date night for him with other people. It's never. I wasn't 21 yet when we got together. So once I turned 21, I could get in. So it's always been like a us date. It's our go-to. Like who doesn't love to laugh?
Hello. Where did y'all see him at?
Baltimore Comedy Factory.
At the Comedy Factory.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool, man. Yeah, Tony Baker's hilarious, man. I've been following his IG for quite some time. My oldest daughter even says Kirkpatrick. So, you know, beautiful, man. That's good stuff. That's good. I'm glad you guys had a good night. And, you know, I just got to ask you, were you drinking light or dark that night?
What did I drink? I think we had tequila. I think we did tequila. We did El Padrino Reposado.
1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila,
floor.
Yeah.
The
floor. 3 tequila floor.
Yeah. The guy who started the whole Hoochie Daddy Shorts thing, he was at the Comedy Factory sometime last year. I forget who he opened for, but I followed him online, and I think he's from Philly. He's hilarious. Of course, I can't remember his Instagram right now, but he started the whole Hoochie Daddy thing. And so to see that blow up when I saw that when he first posted it was hilarious.
Oh man, what's his name? I actually wasn't hip. I just kind of saw it on Facebook.
I actually have my Hoochie Daddy Shorts, so
I wish I could remember his name. I can remember the person who opened right after him.
He's advertising.
Yeah, I'm saying I got my shorts and my swim trunks.
Listen, Kev,
he's advertising. Kev is advertising out here. He
on the screen. Say hi, guys.
No, don't say hi, guys. Guys.
ladies.
Hello, ladies.
Guys, just give a head nod. We cool.
Hey. I'm not even gonna play a sound for that one. Like this, we just
gonna check. So his name is Clint Coley. Clint is in like Clint Eastwood and Coley, COLEY. Lexia started kicking in, and I was like, "What does that say?"
I'm here to help. I'm here.
Nice.
He's hilarious. Love him. Love his work. Quality content.
So he came up with the Hoochie Daddy Shorts.
To the best of my knowledge, I had never heard anyone say it before him, and he has said he had not heard anyone say it before him. And he made content for that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I was wondering where it came from. I just thought it was something that women kind of said in their own little circles when they talk about things and come up with unrealistic expectations for men and stuff like that. I just figured it was one of those kind of things.
Oh, that's how we're going to transition?
I think
you see what I did there? You like how I did that? Did you like how I did that? I got to admit, I wasn't planning on doing that, but she kind of walked me into it. So
you did it.
Hey, that's all good. Well, you know what? With that said, y'all get y'all next set of shots ready. Let me go ahead because we about to get into this topic. This is actually the first feature topic of the evening. Where the hell did my drink go? Well, hold up. Wait a minute. Wait. Whoa. All right, there we go. First bottle's empty. All right, y'all, let's get into it, man. First topic of the evening. First feature topic of the evening. Unrealistic expectations. Let's go. All right, bet. What was that?
And this is what happens when you put us on the same couch.
You can't take black people nowhere. We was having a whole dance party and we knew the stream was about to transition. I'm actually a little out of breath, so we had to
even better. Even better. He was out here jamming. He was getting it in, y'all. For the unrealistic expectations.
Let's get into it.
Well. So, Kev, was this one you introduced?
Probably.
I think this was one you introduced.
Finding all the ethnic ignorant things,
because of Twitter, because of Black Twitter. You said
that's why I will never leave again. Al Gore's internet never lets me down.
All day. All right, so what's hold on, I think I got this is a video, right? Did y'all take your shot while y'all was dancing already? Did everybody else? Did y'all take your shot?
Did you do
no,
that?
Good. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Did a lot.
Up to it, down to it. Y'all know how we do it.
Baby. Yeah. Remember, this was your idea.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Why didn't we listen?
To who?
To me.
Oh.
Why didn't we listen?
Oh my goodness.
There was something much smoother I could have chosen, and I did not.
There were so many things.
Instant regret. Smoother. Like, I know, like, that's actually, I think, a subreddit. Instant regret. This. Love the show. Great content. This liquor I chose.
Yeah. I don't know if my good sis Elise is still on, but she had Oreos, and I had an Oreo, and I didn't do the math on it. So I like broke it in half and ate the half, and it like the package was 500 milligrams, and there were 2 cookies, which means each cookie was 250.
Correct.
And I broke it in half and ate the half.
And that's like 125.
And like literally as soon as I put the half in my mouth, I was like, this wasn't a good idea. And like it was like going down at the time, and there was no going back.
It was too late.
There was no going back. I had an out of body experience on 125 milligrams of and then it's just do your math, people.
I just want to know, where are these magic cookies?
They're called Stonios. I don't. Oh. I'll do some research. Stonios.
We'll do some Google.
They're like big flat Oreos, and it was just fantastic. But it's down bad.
First one to find me Stonios will get a Stonio. All right. I need Stonios. I need to find out what that's about. And any other. Listen, Kev always breaks down what happens with the liquor, with the different brands and prices and types, and and we love them for that. Now for that other stuff though,
that's you.
Holla at your boy. So y'all let me know if y'all got some good edibles or drinks or sippables or lightables, all that good stuff, right? All right. Enough is enough.
Unrealistic expectations from the top.
Unrealistic expectations. All right, so let's just watch it together and see what happened here. With sound.
In their mind. They don't even be looking at the niggas right in front of them. That's the difference between men and women. We see who here.
Right.
Women down here think it's a unicorn nigga with long dick and a lot of money and a weekend house, and this nigga write poetry and draw and he a thug and he fight and lift weights and don't eat pork. You crazy? You gonna meet this nigga with a lace front on? Okay, I'm tripping though.
What he say, man?
Man, they want that nigga to have everything. Women be out here creating super niggas in their mind. They don't even be looking at the niggas right in front of them.
All right, so I wanted to make sure we played that part from the beginning, right? Creating super niggas in their mind. We grown. This is grown folks podcast right here. We grown. They be creating super niggas in their mind.
Do we though?
Do you? I don't know. I was just about to say, I'm gonna defer to you and all the ladies in the comments. Y'all let us know. Do y'all create these super niggas in your mind?
Well, listen. So I'm a charge her up before she answers.
Go ahead.
Oh boy, here we go.
So you got good group chats.
You know I love my group chats.
So even if it ain't you,
okay.
Do
women
and by we, I mean y'all. And by y'all, I mean in these good group chats, have you seen some unrealistic expectations, which is where our phrase super niggas is going to come from?
So
super niggas. I'm sorry. Y'all be making super niggas? Is this what we doing?
Apparently, that's what he said we be doing. My thing is, being unrealistic is relative. People would say that my lifestyle is unrealistic, depending on whether they have like a poverty mindset or a lack of exposure to this type of life and seeing it live. So Have I seen it happen? Yes. Is it a common thing that I see? No. I don't think. Honestly, I think at one point the bar was in hell. I'm going to be flat out. The bar was in hell. Like, I have been in my relationship almost 9.5 years. Next month, I'll make 9.5 years. We've been together. December will be 5 years married. So I ain't been outside like that.
I married them, by the way.
He did. He did that. Mm-hmm.
That's real. That's real.
I'm in the street.
That's real.
Real special. And I'm just, I haven't been outside like that, but like people have been telling me for quite some time that the dating pool has pee and there's no chlorine. So,
it's pee. It's pee in it.
Lots of pee, lots of urine,
lots of
not a lot of chlorine. But I think being unrealistic is relative. You have people who think that being a housewife is unrealistic. Surviving on one income, or thriving rather on one income, is unrealistic. A man being faithful for the duration of your relationship is unrealistic. So, like, what are we talking about here? Because if I asked you I sent you guys something earlier about stop dating homeless men who ain't got their name on a lease or a mortgage.
Yeah.
Like, but is that really unrealistic?
That ain't unrealistic.
That's not unrealistic. That's not unrealistic at all.
If his name ain't on no lease, he's homeless. And if he's homeless, you shouldn't be dating him. If he's homeless, he shouldn't be dating.
Like, and now here's the thing. There are times where that does not fit. I know people we used to live with my in-laws. I know people who live, and I'm talking my husband, he's an engineer. Like, we wasn't broke. We had a rental property. Like, we were just living with my in-laws to make the ends meet faster.
But that's a different.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's a choice in the matter versus you can't do it, so you need to. Yeah.
Again, is it unrealistic that I at 28, having the experiences that I have had in life, whether that be my travel, the relationships I've had, the platonic relationships, I have a great friend here, a great brother here, like seeing how this man is, seeing how my parents' relationship has been, the relationships around me, and then also knowing what I feel like my value is, whether, what am I offering? And so I'm an asset in all of my relationships.
She fine.
Like, it's super dope to have me on your team. Like, super lit. Like, I just be knowing stuff. It'd just be fun facts that I be throwing out there to bless your life.
She fine.
I can even quote scripture. Don't put me on the spot though.
Don't worry. We're gonna have you come back for some of those. Don't worry.
All the fun.
Don't worry.
But so, like, when we're saying unrealistic, like, baby, is the bar in hell? Like, is she unrealistic or is the bar in hell? Do you want to offer bare minimum for maximum return?
Oh, okay. All right. That's fair. Let me allow me to push back. Me to push back. All right.
What kind
of organic show is this? Pushing back a little.
Okay. So, while I don't disagree with not allowing for the bare minimum, I think there is something. Well, okay. I think there's something to be said about what taking care and providing actually looks like, because I have this. I've actually. I don't think I've dated any like that. I don't. Maybe one or two of y'all, but I don't typically date women like this. But there are some who, when they say take care of me or provide for me, they mean, I got to be in the Benz, I got to be in the mansion, I got to be on the boats, I got to be on vacation, all that kind of stuff. And more power to the people that can, provide that all the time. But is for the average guy, would you say that that's realistic?
But if I'm not average, then why should I expect average? Why should I accept that? Like, why should I receive that? I think, like, there's reasonable expectations that people like to call unreasonable when it's really you just don't measure up. Like, you're not filling out the rubric. You're not filling it up. And you're upset because the person you want desires more than you have to offer. That's not unrealistic. It's just unrealistic for you.
Okay, so that's fair. So, like I said, for me personally, anybody that was like, I have to have this on a regular like that, I was always like, hell no, like because even if I was a multimillionaire, I would still say hell no, because why do you deserve that? So I'll ask you, why do you deserve that?
Because I want it.
What's that mean? Why do you deserve it? Not why do you want it?
I deserve whatever I ask for and whatever I request. Because I have said that it is mine to have. And
what does that mean?
Kevin spoke on this earlier about when your confidence is that audacious. I have the confidence to say that there's not a single relationship in my life that I'm not an asset in. Every relationship, whether it's my parents, my in-laws, my friends, my husband, my children, other parents who I don't know, people who see me and don't know me, I'm an asset. Therefore, what I ask for, I'm gonna get.
So what do you ask for?
Right now, a lot of Disney trips.
And I think, you know, the major difference here is she's an asset. You know, whereas, and I think it's, you know, again, we're gonna blame it on Al Gore and Beyonce's internet.
Yeah.
That a lot of what we see, and we call it unrealistic expectations, because there are a subgroup of people who
mismatched.
They're mismatched. They jump on the internet and they have nothing. I feel like every other week we're talking about this proverbial table. They bring nothing to the table, but want everything provided for them at the table. So like you're you know, in this case, because they're talking about women. So I'll say women who, you know, they want the traditional man, the man who's going to beat up the water buffalo, kill a water buffalo, bring the water buffalo home, skin the water buffalo, cut it into portions. But then they can't cook the water buffalo, and they can't
that part.
They can't see the water buffalo. They don't even know it's a water buffalo that you brought home. You know what I'm saying? So like that, you know, if you like don't have those basic skills, but require a very like man's man, like then to not, you know, a traditional woman in that way, like that's when we're talking about unrealistic expectations. It's not the woman who, you know, is sure of herself and like can manage her career and a household, who can cook a meal, who can, you know, like provide you the support, who can challenge you to be a better version of yourself, who can help you manage finances as opposed to spending all the money that you have. You know what I'm saying? Both. Like, I mean, you're gonna do it, but you still keep you all like financially sound. Like you're not taking away from the building of the house money to like finance. You know what I'm saying? To find, and not even that, because there's cultural experience and like legitimate stuff to that. You're not taking house money to blow it on purses and you know what I'm saying, steaks that are covered in gold and, you know, have salt poured on them from 7 feet above. Like that's not, you know what I'm saying, like it's not the same.
And I think the other side to that is you're also not like you're adding to his point. You're adding to the family. You're, you know, and just what you talked about earlier with the So Mom block. You're adding to, you know, the legacy that, you know, you guys are building together. You're not just expecting to be pampered just because you expect it, just because you want it, just because you feel you're worth it. Like you actually can validate that you have done things in an objective way. Like you can objectively say, I do these things that make me worth X, right? And I think that's what makes it unrealistic. To exactly to Kev's point. Thank you so much for that. I agree 1,000%. The issue is that sometimes women are willing to overlook. Some women are willing to overlook what would be considered an average guy or a regular guy who will still take care of you, but maybe doesn't live in a mansion or maybe can't afford a maid or whatever, but you require a maid. And so that goes back to that question we asked a couple weeks ago about when we say, what do you bring to the table? When men say, what do you bring to the table? Is that an irrelevant question to ask? So now we got another woman on the panel here. So let me ask you.
So I got two things. Before we go down that rabbit hole, there's two things you said.
Okay.
One about the whole provider piece, and two, I forgot that fast. But
because we're 5 shots in now.
But about the provider piece, I think, and I've read this on social media multiple times, we're in a generation where making money is not enough. You need a personality that someone desires to be around. And I think that it is offensive to a lot of men, similar to the whole, like, we were always told, you know, if you go to college, you work hard, you're gonna have this thing, and you're gonna be able to make this money, and then like it didn't work out. Then we're home. Learn how to change a tire, make money, the wife will come. Now we're requiring emotional intelligence, regulation. We're requiring that little human that we're currently nurturing to be a big human. We're requiring you show up being a partner and not us having to parent you. And for what it's worth, women are now we're now allowed to have our own bank accounts. We can have our own jobs. We don't need a man on it. There are things that come with having a man, but if we're going to talk about a table, what are you bringing that complements what I already have? What loads are you lifting, or what obstacles are you removing? What qualifies you as an asset? And a lot of people have a communication deficit where they don't ask the question they want an answer to. They ask a random question or a roundabout question and hope they get their answer.
Say what you mean,
like,
bro.
We don't do passivity around here. I'm a straight shooter. My husband is a straight shooter. The humans that we have produced are straight shooters.
And they be plucking my nerves.
They do.
Because I'm their teacher too. So they be plucking my nerves.
Listen, you think this got pushed back. You ain't been in a room with my two. That's some pushback.
Listen.
Like,
I'm sure.
I'm a super regulator. Okay. For the record, I'm a super regulator. To go from my own 3-year-old to high school students that are not mine to other people's children after the fact, and just any kind of like relationship stuff. I'm a super regulator. Another conversation for another day. Go back to I'm a super regulator.
The providing piece.
Yeah.
Like, are you providing more than dick and money?
Well, first of all,
not you.
Yeah, no. I need to talk about me. But I just want to say for the fellas that dick and money is just the beginning, right? So I agree with you on that. It all starts with the dick and the paycheck.
A long beginning.
A long beginning.
Well, it's important because
sorry.
That used to be
the
end game. Like, that used to be the end game, and people felt like if I produce a paycheck and penis, then I deserve this good thing. And why is your partner unhappy? You're like, I pay the bills.
And I dick her down. Sorry. Pipe her down.
Your partner unhappy because she got feelings you won't validate, because she has needs that you're not meeting, and you think that your money can fix everything, but you're not paying attention to the details. It's not unrealistic he's saying poetry, but are you saying that, is it really poetry or is it communication? Is it talking to her nice? Is it really poetic? Or are you quantifying or qualifying it as poetic because it sounds like some movie thing, some scripted thing that she wants to be spoken to a certain way?
Yeah.
Like, the mansion, or is it that she just don't want to keep coming over to you in your roommate spot and you're being dramatic? Like, maybe she just wants to come to a place where she feels safe to take off her shoes and maybe something else, and somebody not gonna walk in. Like,
true that.
Is it really unrealistic, or are you intentionally exaggerating the request? And then, that's what the second thing. Did she even ask that of you? Just because she said she wanted
it, did she get a what?
Like, did she even ask that of you? Just because a woman says, yeah, I want this beautiful wedding, this beautiful home, I want this family, I'm family oriented, I want to have this amount of kids, baby, that don't mean she wanted with you. That means
that's fair. That's fair.
And also, men, and just as are women creating unrealistic expectations, are men attributing a woman's expression, her outward direct communication, are they receiving that as she's asking this of me? No, sir. She's saying that if this is not you and you are not on one accord, move.
Yep. I actually that goes back to this comment right here, and kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like, if they like I said, I am not the type to just be splurging on you, even if I do got it. If I could be a multimillionaire and I'm gonna still take your ass to McDonald's until you've proven that you're worthy, in my opinion. But
you can just ask what is the qualifications to deserve more than McDonald's?
Well, I think I have to know you more. I have to know that you're
steak and shake.
I've had it once, but I was drunk, so I can't tell you how it tasted.
Even their shakes are
McDonald's.
Small. Even the steaks, the shakes are smaller now, which they were like a decent size and good, and now those are smaller.
All right,
so
that's fair. Yeah.
garbage. The fries were the best thing, but we're not going there for fries. It's garbage now. Stay away from it.
For the record, I've never taken my wife to McDonald's on a date. I just, I'm talking shit.
Listen, just hook it up real nice.
Right. But no,
hey man, you get them fries get salted, throw some honey on them, saying it's good shit.
But yeah, I think a lot of it is the misinterpretation. Is she asking this of you? And if she is it unrealistic in general? Is it unrealistic for you to provide? I cannot ask a person working the window at McDonald's to do what my husband is doing, not working the window at McDonald's. And there's no shade or even deprecation of the person or depreciation of the person who's working a job that can't provide my lifestyle. It just means I have a set bar for my life. I'm going to honor that bar. You do not qualify, and that is okay. Do not request that I lower my bar, and do not try to switch my words and make it seem like I'm being unrealistic. No. It's not unrealistic for a school to say you need a 3.5 GPA. You just don't qualify sometimes, and that's okay. Or for them,
that's okay.
10 years of experience, and you got 4. You just don't qualify, and that's okay.
And that's all right. And I think that's important. I oftentimes when I talk, obviously on this show, you hear me say it all the time, fellas. It starts with us, right? If that's what they want, and that's not, what you're willing to provide or able to provide, because it could be either one. It could be I'm not willing to provide it. It could be I'm not able to provide it. Whatever it is, if that's what it is, keep it moving. I think it's important to, as you said, what's the criteria? I think it's important for all parties involved to, set the bar, set the criteria for what you'll accept and what you won't. And, somebody will either fall into that or they won't. And this way you don't end up misconstruing and mixing up things, mixing up, your expectations with what this person can provide. You're expecting an engineer's wife lifestyle, and he works at McDonald's. Well, those aren't the same. That doesn't line up. For example, I'm just using that.
Right, no, and I get it.
You see what I'm saying, right?
And again, I eat at McDonald's. I used to not, but then I started working outside the house in the office, and I was like, you know what? This drive-through line move real fast.
Listen,
and these fries slap.
And
this Sprite ain't never bad.
When you're drunk as shit, McDonald's food really be. It really be.
It hits.
Salted, hot, salted McDonald's fries are amazing.
And if the fries aren't right, you can tell them, and they'll tell you, give me 3 minutes. I just dropped some fries. I got you. I've never been let down by their fries. But on the topic of being direct and misconstruing things, we can go to the whole table conversation and what people are saying is their criteria, because I do have an opinion about this whole what do you bring to the table thing.
Yeah, go for it. Spotlight on you.
Why am I saying? Ooh, the screen got big.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I feel like I need to take another shot.
What's the table? What is the table? I feel like the table is what people hide behind when they don't use grown-up words. I say we bring to the table. In what context? Are you asking what trauma I bring, what mental health, what finances, what connections, what network?
I think.
What are you asking me?
I think at the bare minimum, people are saying what assets are you providing for a healthy? Well, I would hope. So we'll put the word healthy in brackets. But I think when people talk about the table, they're saying what assets do you bring for a relationship that, again, make you worthy, make you whatever, which is, it's passive, it's
super
vague,
passive.
It's that kind of, and that's why it's and I've said this before, I don't like the question and I don't like the directness of the question, because if I'm taking you out, it's because I've already taken an interest in you. I would hope that if you accept my offer to take you out, that it's because you've taken an interest in me. So if we're having just genuine, earnest conversation, at dinner, at a museum, at a park, whatever, you're learning about me in that process. So you don't have to ask me, what do you bring? You see you know,
you see the added value.
Yeah, like
to the
you
equation.
know, and I think an extra like additive to that is like social media, because like you get a glimpse of, I would more often than not, you get a glimpse of what people are like via their social media. So like, you know, if I see you posting clown shit all the time, I'm gonna assume you're a clown. If I see you, you know, I hang with my friends and I go to church and I, you know, work out from time to time and I, you know, like I do some things that are like valuable for society. Like you can see a whole person, you know, with the things that they show. Is that all they show? No, because, you know, social media in real life highlight reels, but you know, you can at least get a glimpse of the things that make you interested in a person, and then you have those conversations and see a little bit more about them, you know, through those conversations and just your experiences around each other. Like, what do they say? You shouldn't get into a relationship with a person until you see them like in all their facets. So see them angry, you know, see them at a restaurant, see how they, you know, interact with people that you would consider less than. So like, do they talk down to the waiter, or are they, you know, exhibiting signs of patience? You know, how are they with their family? How are they
handle disappointment? Like, how do you handle disappointment?
Like,
that's a big one.
Yeah, like those, you know, there are some like critical things you see before you get into a relationship with a person, but you have to create those environments where you can see it. So like, don't ask me about the table. Just give me an opportunity to show you,
right,
in my natural state, you know, who I am and what my qualities are.
And honestly,
I'm with you on that.
Point, people can see my blog and say, oh yeah, like people can see my blog and say, oh, she's this type of parent. I can tell you, oh, I am this type of this Susie homemaker, and this is exactly how I handle things. There are people who've seen me in my element. They've seen me parent. They've seen me be uncomfortable with outcomes. They've seen me regulate myself prior to interacting with someone who's already dysregulated. Like, they've seen it. So they know I'm not just saying this because it's cute. I'm saying it because they have watched me do this. They have watched me come down to the level of whatever human I'm talking to. They've watched me meter my tone, meter my expectations, nearly negotiate with terrorists, because baby, toddlers, they take you there.
Toddlers are absolutely terrorists.
And so, like, definitely understanding that the table is what you make it, but you gotta see people when you're not asking the question. You gotta see how they're handling that person that just cut them off on the highway. What happens when you're running late? Because a person who will say they're patient until you're 10 minutes late coming outside and they said, I'm outside. Like, and then figuring out what those boundaries look like, communicating that as well. Like, a lot of direct communication does not happen. Because again, I think what do you bring to the table is a blanket backdoor question. It is a passive way of saying, tell me why I should be with you, but in what capacity? If my husband asked me, because we got together when I was 19. Yeah, I was 19. And if he said, what do you bring to the table at 19? What does that even mean? Like,
which party are we going to?
Like,
you know,
I bring.
Do you know some people who can get?
I bring Kevin and I bring 1242. I bring 1242.
We're bringing Jose Cuervo at 19. Like that's.
It's the conversations then where, you know, what does legacy look like to you? How do you do you value marriage? Why or why not? How many kids do you want? They were direct questions. I was 19 having these conversations with a 23-year-old of what do you see, you know, what is ideal for you for a household? Where do you see yourself, not in 5 years, but where do you see yourself as a mother? Do you see that for you? You know, is that flexible? What is non-negotiable? What are your baseline standards? Table? Like, how do you interact with your parents? Have you been to therapy? Did you tell the therapist the truth?
Listen,
I think, that part. First of all, that part. Because cats legit be lying to their therapist.
You can't heal if you lying to your therapist.
Comment. I totally agree with that. There are some people, I've had friends who were in college for like engineering, computer science, STEM stuff. I don't have a degree in STEM. I'm good at a lot of things. I know my lane. I respect my lane.
Right.
I don't respect other people's lanes because they're not.
Right.
But like,
not my lane. Not my lane.
Not it. But like, have men even say like they're not interested in their degree because for them, they place more value on, are you fertile? Can you give me babies? And like, do you have that more? Are you more domestic minded, nurtured minded? Are you ambitious? Some men are heavy on the, if you got a degree, you need a job. I need a 2-income household, and they both be coming from me. Like, so the equally yoked. A housewife cannot come to a man who is determined to have a 2-income household and say, I'm going to be a housewife. He's going to be like, no, you're not. Not here. And that's true. But if you know that.
Who's ready to?
We was ready. So it's being honest with yourself. And if you show up as yourself and stop sending your representative, you can get to your end goal a lot faster. Because if you show up as this prim popper polished person and that's not who you really are, then you're setting yourself up for disappointment down the line. I let my husband know from jump. I wasn't even officially his girlfriend. I don't believe in second shift. I know myself. Working 8 hours a day and then coming home to be somebody's mama and wife just don't really fit my personality type. It's not a thing. There are women who kill that. I know women who are killing it. She's not me. It'll kill me. It will kill me. And so finding the balance of showing up how your family needs you, but also just as my job as a parent is to help them be their best, creating the space for them to do that. My partner, it is not his job to make me my best. It is to create the environment where I can become my best safely and effectively. And me being honest enough to say, housewife is the goal, but I'm also willing to do these things to meet the goal. And right now, that's working a full-time job. I love my job. I love my company. My team is awesome. Housewife is endgame. And he knows that, and he knew that. But and that's not stay-at-home mom. That's housewife.
Yeah, but I think that willingness is like that sacrifice is a testament to like the dynamic of give and take in relationships.
Yeah.
That, you know, like it's not always, you know, even if you, like you said, you have the end game in mind, how do we get to the end game? And people like miss the middle steps. Like, yes, we have this idea of what it should look like, but what the hell are we doing to get there? And like, what are our steps to even begin to get there? And like, if you don't see the entire picture, if you're just focused on the end result and miss the process, like you're going to miss a vital step in your relationship. And that again goes back to our topic of creating unrealistic expectations. Like if you're only focused on, well, what can you do for me? You miss the how do we get to the point where you can do it for me? You know, like a helpmate is important because they challenge you to get to that point in a good and healthy way. Was that Gucci Mane that went to jail and his while he was in jail, she turned his millions into more millions because she understood the assignment. Like that's the kind of woman you want. Like when hardships arise, like are you sensible enough to create
reasonable hardships? Let me be clear. Reasonable hardships.
For them, was
context.
What was that? Was that a reasonable hardship?
I'm saying for them, like again, because we're not celebrities, we don't live that lifestyle.
I don't pretend to understand rich people problems.
So for them, I'm going to say that's a very reasonable thing. Because again, if you in love with a gangster lifestyle, gangster mindset, chances are jail is going to be somewhere. Jail, arrest,
in there somewhere,
investigation, like it's going to be in there somewhere.
Right.
So she understood the assignment and enhanced his,
portfolio,
his portfolio while he was down. Whereas there are some women who only care about the end goal, and when you go to jail, they're like, "Damn, you can't do it for me, so like I'm out." Whereas she was like, "I know what you're going to be on the other side, so let's build this up and then when you get out, we can hit the ground running. Like that.
So hypothetically, do you think Gucci asked his wife, "What do you bring to the table?" at some point?
I don't ever. If you're asking me, I do not feel like at all he ever said, "What do you bring to the table?"
I don't think responsible adults ask that question.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's not a real conversation. Like, that's a childish one.
It is.
But what I do feel like
that's
is
a social media conversation.
in their interactions, he saw
Tender conversation, maybe.
Yeah, in their interactions, he saw something in her that said, "I can fuck with this the long way," and kept her around. And she saw something in him that said, like, despite this, this setback, like, I know the direction that we're heading in. I know what you're capable of. Like, I see the man in you. And she enhanced it while he was dealing with this hardship, because marriage says for better or for worse. And that's the picture that they saw. So,
and I feel like the amplified version says within reason, but I'm gonna shut
up. But
somebody's version says that.
And again, reason for us as normal human beings is not reasonable for a celebrity with a blue check and millions of dollars to throw at a strip club.
I mind my tax bracket.
Yeah,
I mind what makes sense for my context, and so
right.
I know what's realistic for that, and I think and I've always been very true to, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do, these are non-negotiables, this I can wiggle on. Like,
yep.
Have like the ugly, not I wouldn't even call them ugly, the not fun conversations where you're like, all right, so let's break down our budget. Let's break down how we accidentally spent $800 on fast food this month. Like, like let's have that conversation, and how does that impact? Like,
and I think those are the kind of things that real men actually want you to bring to the table. It's those intangibles. And now, for the record, I agree with you both that it's an irresponsible question and a petulant question at that, to just come out with all willy-nilly, right? I think you should define, to your point, what your table is, where you are, and what you need to build on, and then get with somebody that's in alignment with that vision, right?
yes.
I can honestly say, not long before I met my wife, I came up with 4 non-negotiables. I won't get into that right now, but there were 4 things that were non-negotiable for me, right? And if you were 3 out of 4, that was not good enough as far as I was concerned, right? And I respect, anybody, man or woman, that has that type of a criteria. I've told other women the same thing. You need to set, like, clearly define, I need this, 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 and this, or whatever it is, as a baseline.
Yes.
And then everything else is negotiable from there, as far as what you're willing to tolerate or not. So I agree with you that it's a silly question to just say, well, what do you bring to the table? That's arbitrary as hell, right?
Let me tell you, all I bring to the cookout is plates and my mama's potato salad.
That part, and my fucking appetite, because I'm gonna eat at this bitch.
Potato salad is bomb though, for the record.
Shout out to Linda.
Shout out to Linda's potato salad.
That don't mean I can't cook. That just means you ask what I'm bringing, and this is what I'm bringing. You ain't telling me what you want me to bring.
That man, that part.
I think there's always a better way to find out what you're really. And again, we're talking about passive aggressive questioning. So, what do you think your role is in a relationship? Do you believe in traditional roles, or are you flexible? Is there something that you absolutely will not do in a relationship? Like, i.e., if we're living in the same house, I never expect you to take out the trash. Like, my woman's not taking out the trash. However, I'll say this. Like, say I go away for a work conference and I'm going to be gone for 4 or 5 days. Do not let the fucking trash sit in the house. Wow. Like, because you're the only one there. So, like, I'm not there to take it out. But what does that do? Like, it creates funk in the house. Take the goddamn trash out that day. But, like, if I'm there, I would never expect you to take out the trash. So, like, but again, we're having these conversations. We're asking these questions, right. Like, what is it that you won't do? What are you willing to do? What will you do if you have to do it? Like, those are better questions that are more direct.
Right. And under what circumstances are you willing to do X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
Because that matters. The context of we have this goal and we can get to that goal significantly faster if you're willing to do this, that, and the third. And what does that look like for you to do it without resentment? For you to do it gleefully or at least beyond tolerantly, to be more than just tolerant of your role, because no one wants to live in an apathetic house. Like, that's not it.
And are people willing to learn? Because
are you teachable?
Because
are you even teachable?
Goddamn, nobody.
How do you receive criticism?
These are things, Like, if you can't handle criticism at work, chances are you can't handle it at home. If you can't handle it from your friends, you can't handle it in a relationship. But criticism is it's a vital part of becoming the best version of yourself that exists, and people miss that. So again, the point we're making here is there are so many other questions you can ask.
There are different scenarios you can put people in. Bring them to brunch. Take them to the zoo. Say we're going on a date. Ask them, do they like surprises? What does retirement look like? What does legacy look like? At what age do you think you should retire? Because some people say wild things like 67. What?
May not be the wildest thing.
But I was about to say, is that the wildest thing?
And so for some people, it's not. For me as a person, it is.
The average person doesn't retire until their 70s now.
I'm not average. I can't relate. But, I get it.
67 is above average.
And just, because of the way the economy has been and inflation and all of that, a realistic amount of money that you're still bringing in after retiring that allows you to live the lifestyle that you have been living, all of those things look different. So these are conversations to be had. But I think our overarching message is
ask the real question.
Right, ask the real question.
How much debt you got? Don't be. What do you bring to the table? What you mean, my student loans?
Because
credit cards.
They come in
consumer debt.
They come in.
That's important. That's important to know, though.
Mortgage.
That's important to know. It's important information.
Operating in the red and pretending that it's just a flag and a circus light. What are you doing?
Do you have kids you don't know about?
Oh.
There are better questions. I'm just saying, better questions.
There are significantly better things that will produce more added value to your making an informed decision for yourself than what do you bring to the table.
So I think we can agree it's a social media question. I think we can agree that's, it's not it maybe is a question that I would maybe ask another guy. Like, for example, if, we'll use Kev. If, Kev was about to, propose to, somebody or whatever, and it was somebody I didn't already know or whatever, I'd probably ask him, like, well, what does she do for you? What does she do? What does she bring to y'all? Look, man, listen.
I was confused because, my brain, remember I said I couldn't be a referee? Because, I'd be a space cadet and I'd miss something. I had to have open my mind, and all I heard was Kev about to propose, and I'm like, now I live 2 buildings over.
Hey, yo, no.
Because I know the text I got. I'm gonna shut up.
Well, anyway, so I would ask Kev if the young lady, what she brought to the table for him, right? Like, what is it that she does for him? So I think, and maybe I don't know if ladies, you guys ask this of each other or not. I honestly don't know. I don't identify as a woman, so far as I know. If I might ask him that, and maybe you guys might ask each other that, but I think it's silly, and more than anything, I think it's silly to just generally ask that question. I think it's good to have that in the back of your head. So, fellas, I'm not saying don't create a table that you want to build on. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you can't be on the first date at the Waffle House talking about, so what do you bring to the table? Right?
Never had the Waffle House.
What?
I've heard Waffle House. It just has never been good.
Where are you? We got to go to Atlanta. We gotta.
We going all the way to Atlanta for Waffle House.
Listen, if we're
Big
not,
facts. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
If we're not at least in North Carolina, then you're not getting the Waffle House because there's one in Aberdeen, but I don't want to go to Waffle House in Aberdeen. Like, we got a North Carolina, South Carolina. Like, I want the Waffle House where somebody gets in a fight, like with the staff, like a fist fight, because that's the way Waffle House is built.
Why?
Why not? Why not?
Because that's where they make the best food. That's where the lady in the back or the guy in the back makes the best food.
That's where the placemats and the menus are sticky.
Yeah, I want the Waffle House.
Sticky ass syrupy menus.
Where you can still smoke cigarettes indoors. I'm just saying, like,
I'm not doing that's what she's saying.
Wait. Listen. There's always a line. That's the line. Okay, I don't want to be damn smelling tobacco while I'm damn eating.
If my female waitress the Waffle House, my food's not good.
Do the waitresses look like us?
The way they look like us, but they also look like our mothers. They look like our mothers.
When you go to
your waitress is a full figure woman with a mustache who says, "Baby, what can I get for you?" And that's how you know your food's gonna be good.
Okay, because my
what are you doing?
Order eggs and they made eggs and put a square of cheese melted. And I was like, that's not.
That ain't.
I get that you met the bare minimum.
You hit a Mason-Dixon line.
But I don't want that.
Waffle House. You got to go to Confederate South Waffle House.
Where you gotta go to like where it's racist or where it used to be racist.
Yeah.
I'm just. It's possible.
I'm gonna see if we can find one on our next road trip.
We going to Atlanta. We're going to Atlanta.
Yeah, you gotta go to one Waffle House in Atlanta, man. That's the one.
And that's where we live because.
No, I'm about to say the one that we go to every time we go to Honda. That's the one.
We come out to party drunk at 3 a.m. We go to Waffle House. We eat, grits and waffles and bacons and hash browns and all of the things.
Some eggs and bacon.
Yeah, it's gonna be beautiful. At 4 in the morning.
Yep. Period.
So living life on the edge.
That's the way to go.
You live life on the edge. You living life wrong if you ain't going to Waffle House down south.
I'm gonna add it to my list of stops.
Waffle House and Zaxby's. Come on, get in there.
I've never had that. Nah. I've never had Zaxby's.
Go to Zaxby's.
Where's that? We don't have those here.
The South is again. We got to go. All right, cool. We got to go.
We're going to have an episode where we talk about all the Southern things. Right. Hospitality. Maryland is the South.
That's going to be the on the road show. We're going to probably all be in person, Oh, man, that'd be fun.
That would be hilarious.
Oh, we should do an episode at Honda.
Mike,
Ooh.
It would be a short episode because there are so many
things. They're going to pop in and say, hey, and then get out. Oh, I tell you.
Yeah.
That's either going to be the shortest episode. We got the shortest episode ever or the longest one.
Yeah, we got 1 good hour for y'all. Y'all can watch live what's happening, but we ain't gonna talk to y'all for but 1 hour.
Right. Yeah. Right. Maybe 30, 45 minutes.
And then just leave the camera on. From many angles.
That might be a problem. Not a Honda.
Y'all act like Honda's Vegas.
That's when we'll start our OnlyFans.
Oh, so Honda is Vegas.
So and that was the exchange we needed. That right there, because Honda is Vegas. Basically.
Vegas for the South, yes.
I mean, far as I'm concerned, what happens there, it stays there. Just saying.
Unless you get somebody pregnant, then that shit's gonna follow you.
Oh, sad story.
Or certain venereals, but that's I feel like
those. Venereals. Wait a minute. Wait. First of all, leave those. Leave those. Not I said the trade. Absolutely not.
Like nope. Single people, because my happily married, faithfully, married self, not finna.
Yeah, God will stop because certain niggas ain't faithful and ain't venereal free, but I just.
So our next topic, as we close this show out, we thank y'all for being here. If you haven't already, hit that like.
We cancel.
And it might not just be by the internet.
I think that might have just been the one.
Oh boy! But he ain't lying though. Now is he? The bad thing is he's absolutely right. Some of y'all out here, jingling, baby. You feel me? Like that's the same. Anyway, and it's not that good shit. But that said, last topic. And we're gonna try to keep this relatively
I'm
as
long-winded.
short as we can.
Nah, we
Y'all, are we good? Are we up to it? We got our shots together?
It's got. I don't even care what it is. We up to it.
We're gonna talk a little bit about the WNBA. A little bit about it here. Let's get to it. Here we go.
I know.
This is gonna be fun.
Well,
yeah. Tell your husband you're welcome. On behalf of the man that married you both. Okay. WNBA. Now, all right, little bit of context. All right. So earlier this week, this popped up on my timeline on my feed here. And people were going in on it, right? Now,
that's small though.
It is. I mean, that
trophy. I
wasn't sure what I was looking for.
No, but to see it like this, that's actually not that small.
I've had jump rope trophies significantly bigger than that.
Which is fair. I'm just saying that still though is not that small.
What did they win?
The All-Star Game MVP.
The All-Star MVP.
But
MVP.
Well, but what people missed is because this year all of the
is it a chalice?
All of the all of the awards that were won this year for the NBA 75th were miniature basketballs. Granted, they were like glass basketballs, but they were smaller than what she's holding in her hand.
Oh, what I'm saying is, quite literally, my dick is taller than that trophy. Okay, that thing is ridiculous.
That is the trophy. So, but it's just like everything with the WNBA is always compared to the NBA. But this year, the trophy that Stephen Curry hoisted at the All-Star game was a miniature glass diamond miniature basketball. So like he was able to fit it between his two hands. And the 6th man of the year, defensive player of the year, MVP, like for the 75th anniversary, they got glass basketballs. No, that's the finals MVP. You want All-Star game MVP. Okay. Like those are small trophies. That trophy is appropriate for a All-Star weekend. Like it's not your championship trophy.
That looks like a big trophy.
Right, the Kobe Bryant one. But the so find a 6th man of the year. That's
you know what? Y'all got a lot of trophies.
Tyler Hero, 6th man of the year.
6th man.
Yeah, they're smaller trophies. I just want people to leave the WNBA alone.
So I agree with you on that, which is why we're on this topic. But this is what I have to say about that. And I think this is the problem. I think this right here is the problem. The problem is apparently that glass diamond trophy thing you was talking about, that thing probably costs more than the reported $18 that this thing costs.
They reported that it took $18 to make. Are they saying it took $18 to make?
I don't know. All I'm saying is I see that apparently the trophy costs $18.
I think that's is
that fake news?
It's fake news. It's fake news. Like even so, first of all, because to engrave a trophy costs more than $18.
It doesn't. I'm in charge of bulk ordering for my job.
Bulk ordering.
But here's the thing:
one specific
thing.
If
I only order the sample.
But this is a professional sports league. They're not paying $18 for anything. Like it's not happening. So to engrave her trophy,
is it this?
Yeah, to engrave her trophy for this one specific event, I guarantee you costs more than $18. So the trophy plus
the engraving did, but did the trophy cost that though?
I'm
asking. I don't know.
And I don't have a figure, but I promise you the trophy costs more than $18 to make.
Have you been on Wish?
Okay, all right. So what I'm saying is the trophy probably costs more than $18 to make with engraving and all of that. Even if you go to a place like Things Remembered or something like that. Even if you go somewhere like that, yes, it's going to cost more. Right? Yeah, big facts, big facts. But did the trophy cost $18 though? Because they'll engrave anything.
Yes.
For example.
But
yes.
But why does it matter? And excuse me for my ignorance. Why does it matter? Like,
well,
are they mad? What are they mad about?
And in my opinion, it doesn't make a difference. I think a trophy is a trophy. You know, it's significant. You know, it signifies whatever you did. In my opinion, I don't think it makes a difference. But that's apparently what people are going off about.
Why they mad?
But are like, and this is why the part that irritates me. Are they going off or are they just being dicks? Because
okay, all right, fair enough.
Dicks, because the people who are going off they're not like, you're not even following the game. You just saw a picture. You're like, damn, this doesn't look anything like the Kobe Bryant trophy. Damn, this doesn't look like the Larry O'Brien trophy. So let me denigrate it because it's a women's trophy.
Are there comparable trophies for the women? Like, is there like a Lisa Leslie trophy?
I
don't know any other ones.
Well, no. I think
it should be a Cynthia Cooper or Cheryl Swoops trophy if there isn't already.
Like Lisa, because those are the pioneers: Rebecca Lobo, Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the household names that they not yet. But again, the WNBA is 50 years behind the NBA with less financing because they're not generating the same revenue. So, like, I think those things will be coming, and eventually they'll probably have all the same awards and designate them to those pioneer WNBA players. It just doesn't exist right now. But like,
I think my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. But
I just want the WNBA to be able to enjoy what they're doing while they're being themselves, while trying to advance what they're doing.
That's fair.
And so, like these
I agree.
Articles that don't highlight the winner of the award, but just say, "Hey, here's a list of things that are bigger than the trophy she got." Like, eat a bag of dicks. Like,
that's so rude. They did that.
Yes, that's where this comes from. Like,
that's where this comes from.
Yep. The article was things that are bigger than the WNBA All-Star Game trophy.
I mean, my Double Dutch World trophy 15 years ago was bigger than that, and I didn't even get first place. Like, but again, what was the quality of that trophy? It was more of a bragging rights in the community thing, not a quality.
But okay, wait. So to that point, Richrda, do you think that a community event that's not that important, whatever kind of trophy it is, should be bigger or cost more than or whatever a professional league trophy?
It didn't. It didn't.
Okay. All right. Maybe it did. Do we know that it didn't? I don't know. I really don't know. Truthfully,
let's remove the price tag off the table. Is the quality of the award good? Like, am I getting an award that unscrews on the bottom? Like, I didn't just like do a professional sport. Like, can I unscrew the bottom? Like, my kids just got soccer trophies. Yeah. Like, they got their first participation trophies, and it had their names engraved on them. And they're these cute. They're no bigger than a red cup.
Yeah.
But they feel special because it has their name on it.
So let's stop because I'm.
Go ahead, Kev. Tell them stop the cap. Stop the cap, yo.
Let's stop playing. Although Tiffany and Company did not reveal how much the Larry O'Brien trophy. Oh wait, that's the Larry O'Brien. God damn it.
Thought it was.
All right, hold on. All right.
Wait, that's a Tiffany's trophy?
The Larry O'Brien one.
But the lady one that she got. Who made that?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Who made that? Wow, that candle still smells good even after you pull it out.
Hey, that said, big shout out to Destination Unknown. That's one of Nicole's candles, right?
Yes, one of her sorors.
Yeah.
Sister.
Big shout out to that. I'm actually over the over the weekend. I'm gonna drop this segment from when she was on here, so y'all be sure to check that out and check out her website, man. Destination Unknown Candles. You know, you got some good stuff. You're hearing it live.
This some
You're
bullshit.
hearing the live feedback in real life. How good it is. Okay, so while they're looking for that, what I'm saying about all of this, you made a good point, Kev, is about how much they make. Yes, they are 50 years behind the NBA. That, you know, is
Is
very
her last
important.
name Plum? I'm so sorry.
Yes.
So yeah, it
Plum,
was
yeah,
made. Though Plum's cup seemed understated at best, it is in fact made by luxury jeweler Tiffany and Co. That's a Tiffany's trophy.
Okay, so yeah, this ain't that
Oh
ain't
yeah, so that wasn't $18.
it ain't $18. I can
It's,
promise
I
you
can
that.
Yeah.
promise you.
Sure as hell ain't $18 if it came from
Tiffany's
Tiffany
is
and Co.
that.
Nah.
We're talking
No.
at minimum 5 figures before the decimal. Minimum.
And now, not saying they need to spend millions of dollars on an All-Star Game trophy when, as far as I've seen, the league loses money or has lost money year over year. I don't say they need to be making, but millions of dollars on their trophy. But that's another point. The league has lost some money, and it's mainly because of popularity or lack thereof of the league.
What
So
league? The
the
WNBA.
WNBA.
Is this like a marketing problem? Are we marketing? So you know how people say like the beer
Yeah.
that's marketed isn't really the one that tastes the best. It's just it's the most popular.
Yep.
It's well marketed.
You know,
Are they well marketed?
it's
giving no.
No, it's
It's giving
like
no.
the WNBA is well marketed. People though want what they want. So like
They want lingerie basketball.
They want lingerie basketball. But to that point, they didn't even pay attention to lingerie football, that's
what my eye roll was for.
We've seen the lingerie football. I understand lingerie football is the sexiest thing I've ever seen.
It absolutely is. Sorry, my bad.
Genuinely does not pay attention to sports. You're not looking at lingerie football, so you're definitely not looking at lingerie basketball because first of all, WNBA is like 70% lesbian, so it ain't even gonna look the way you
is it.
You wanted to.
Yeah, no, big fact.
Listen, Lisa Leslie is as far as my knowledge base.
But my thing is just
two things I know.
Always been like the WNBA, while it's well marketed, only exists for one fourth of the time that the NBA does. Like really, the NBA is
it's a summer league basically.
We're looking at summer league right now. The NBA is a year-round product now. The WNBA is only on in the summer months, June, July, and August, and then they're done. Those women.
So wait, they're playing at the same time as like the not high schoolers?
Yes. So WNBA games are going on right now.
Right now.
This is the window.
The All-Star weekend was this past weekend, right?
The All-Star weekend was 2 weeks. 2
weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
I would say this is a cultural issue when we've created a culture where women are to be objectified and sexualized, and you create a sport for equality where you have your women's version of it, but it doesn't fit the narrative of sexualized.
Well, it's not, and so this is one of those cases where I say it's not a sexualized thing. It's literally.
Is it really not?
It's really not. It's based on their athleticism. So,
but would they be more popular if it were sexualized? Is there lack of popularity because they're not getting the funding and they're not getting the attention because men can't fantasize themselves with 75% lesbians?
No, I think
who play basketball better than them.
I genuinely think this is one of those cases where they're not as important because they can't dunk.
They can't dunk?
I mean, there are 4 or 5 women, I'll say a maximum of 10 to 12 in the WNBA who can actually dunk. One, the tallest players in the NBA are in the WNBA are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". That's the tallest. The average is probably 5'10", 5'11".
Is their court the same height?
The court's the same height. All those. So again, the women have to dunk on a 10-foot court the same way the men do. So in the WNBA, in the All-Star game, there was one dunk by a woman. extrapolate that. Like the NBA in an All-Star game, niggas gonna dunk like 40, 50 times.
Every other play. Every other play is going to be a dunk.
The people who know how this works, because again, I'm speaking as someone who the 2 fun facts I know about the WNBA. 3, 1, it stands for women's. That's the W. 2, Lisa Leslie. 3, the Mystics.
Yeah,
that's so literally the scope of my knowledge.
I don't like, so the fix is not as immediate. As time goes on, you're going to have more athletic women. But like right now, there just aren't the same amount of women athletically gifted as men.
What impresses you?
Hey, I got a question.
Yeah.
I got a question. Why don't women watch it?
I don't watch either.
No, but I'm asking you. I'm saying why don't women watch sport? Why don't women watch women's basketball? Like literally, because, and I'm asking this question because you said, you mentioned, are they not as popular because it's not sexualized? Well, if you're asking a man, if you ask a man if he's going to pay $250, a ticket to, see an athletic contest, versus a sexual escapade or something that is more sexified, then yeah, as a man, yeah, of course I'm going to pay to see that. Of course I am. But if you're asking me about like equal athleticism, and I'm watching literally guys throw the ball down the court with like a torpedo, watching guys jump out to the gym, watching guys put their arm in the rim, versus watching fundamental basketball, I'm not going to pay $250 to see a ticket, or $500 a ticket, or $1,000 a ticket to see fundamental basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like, why
not? Like, is it because like you're impressed by what the men can do versus what the women can
it's
do?
entertainment. Like literally, that's the reason why. It's because it's entertainment, because they're doing something I cannot do. Right? It's not about whether or not they're better than me. Look, most of the ladies in the WNBA would kick my candy ass in a game of 1-on-1 or 21-33 or something like that. They'd whip my ass. But the question is not whether or not they're better than me. The question is whether or not I would pay to watch them play. And you know what I'm saying?
If they're better than you, why is that not impressive?
But so I'll interject for a moment.
Okay.
He recognizes that. What we see, which this has been the conversation, the internet is filled with trolls, and their whole spiel is, well, oh my God, they're not dunking. Like, so they don't even appreciate fundamental, well played basketball, which is literally,
which I do, by the way.
Is literally what the WNBA is, because they're not as athletically gifted as men. They have to play the game the right way. So to watch a WNBA game, you're going to see the ball moved around well. You're going to see defense played well. You're going to see like execution. I don't even think they are devoid of stars.
I was going to say, I think the WNBA has plenty of stars.
I'm saying the WNBA has plenty of stars, and they're even endorsed by NBA players. Like Sabrina Ionescu was one of the like last people that Kobe Bryant put his stamp on before he died. That is the like propelling of you into superstardom. So Ionescu's great. They have the drama. I was telling Trey this yesterday. Candace Parker, who is my favorite WNBA player, she's a great NBA analyst. So she works for the NBA when she's not playing for the WNBA. She was playing for the LA Sparks, which LA is big name, big time, like promotional, whatever. The WNBA felt like LA Sparks felt like she was too old to carry them to a championship, so they let her walk. She's from Chicago, went back to play for the Chicago Sky. The season she left, Chicago Sky won the WNBA championship. And she was like, fuck last year. This is what I tried to tell y'all. Y'all didn't want to believe in me. So like the drama exists, the excitement exists, the skill exists. It's just like trolls are literally sitting back saying, these women don't dunk, so I don't want to watch it. Like, and then
real quick. So because there is an entertainment factor, and I think that the just not being able to dunk isn't good enough of an excuse to not watch it. But we have to admit reasonably that the game is different, and in some cases the game is slower and slightly less athletic, literally because men generally speaking are going to be more athletic than women, and I think that's the difference there. But why I'm asking why don't women support it is because generally speaking, I hear women doing more complaining about it, and I'm saying, hey, listen, if more of you support it, more of you go to the games, women are more likely to pay for an NBA game or a ticket to go to that and be excited about going to an NBA game than a WNBA game, in my experiences anyway. So, I think that would help too. If more women supported that sport, I think that would also help. Then you don't have to worry about whether or not, men think this is athletic or not athletic, or, whether they can dunk or not dunk or whatever. Women outnumber men in this country, I'm pretty sure, relatively sure.
I think that's a sexualized thing though. That women are going to a men's basketball game because they're hoping that even if it's not a basketball player who chooses them sitting in the audience, that they're going to see somebody who's paid $1,000 to sit courtside.
$1,000 for the seat.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and see them there. So like, women don't even appreciate like the game. They just know that this is where I need to be to put myself in position to be, dare I say, successful.
Well, and that's the thing. And that's why I asked, if people who say they appreciate basketball, then why aren't you appreciating the basketball that still plays better than you? Like,
well, because to the casual fan who doesn't, you got to remember, Kev and I, we either watched it all our life or we played basketball or both. I don't remember if you played or not. I know I did. I don't remember if you did or not. You did. Okay. So we both played basketball. So we have an appreciation for fundamental basketball because we played it, So that's us. But if you're talking to the casual fan who has no idea what a 2-1-2 zone defense is, who has no idea what a half-court trap is, who has no idea what a triangle offense is, and you're asking the casual fan to buy into that, that's easier said than done, versus asking the casual fan to buy into this light-skinned guy who's smaller than everybody, who's shooting from half court. Or this guy who's 6'8" named LeBron, who's jumping over everybody and running all down the court in 2.5 seconds, right? Feats of athleticism that none of us can actually do. Again, I'm not saying that the skill set is different. The skill set, you having a better skill set than me, does not necessarily equate to it being entertaining enough for me to pay extra money to watch it. I just can appreciate that you're better than me at it,
Are women allowed to be entertaining? Because if they're playing a technical game, are they constantly calling fouls in a way that aren't called in men's sports? Because I've heard of that being a thing.
No,
I don't think so. I don't think so.
What I was saying earlier, like literally all referees, WNBA, NBA, NCAA, all of the referees are at the same event. It's just how good of a referee are you that will put you in the place where it matters the most, which that matters the most is about dollars. So, and which almost is wild to me, because I would imagine that if we're talking dollars, the NCAA will come before the WNBA.
So that was my point.
But it doesn't.
NCAA is definitely more profitable than the WNBA.
But the structure, and this is out of the horse's mouth, the structure of referee assignments is NBA, WNBA, NCAA, because NBA and WNBA are professional leagues.
Professional, yeah.
The NCAA, even though they have the nil now where they can make money off of their likeness as a collegiate athlete, they're still not a professional league. They're paid. Yeah, they're just paid.
They have auxiliary.
So like WNBA referees have to officiate the same way that they would an NBA game. You have to understand the flow of the game, but you also have to understand your personnel. So like, I would say there are 1 million more fouls that take place in a WNBA game than an NBA one, because of the technicality that goes into it, and it's less.
But then that is where my question comes from. You said earlier the flow. Refs have to be mindful of the flow of an NBA game because technically they could call a foul on any play. Part of the entertainment is the flow of the game and how fast it goes. If you're constantly calling fouls because you're being technical with one league and not the other,
no. Well, so I'm saying,
are you interrupting the potential
So
flow?
I'm saying they're not being technical. They just have to be. You have to be even more aware in the WNBA, because you're relying. The players are relying more on their technical skill than their athleticism. In the NBA, like, it's up and down. The WNBA is more half-court style because that's what the game relegates itself to. So, like, WNBA
but
game.
Who's relegating it?
the players.
They are. Yeah, I'm about to say the literal inability to do the same thing is what regulates that.
I won't say like
are they not being allowed to do those things? And are they being is there a pigeonhole that they're being put in?
There's no pigeonhole. The game is the game still.
It's not a pigeonhole. It's just physical limitation. So
right. Yes.
So
and literally not being able to is what I'm saying.
Case. But in reality, the best woman still can't run as fast as the best man
in real life.
And I'm not. So what I'm comparing here, and this could just be my non-athletic, because my realm is cheerleading, all-star competitive cheerleading. But if I'm mentally comparing listen, sis, I feel you. But if I'm mentally comparing where the inception starts, if I am told that the rubric requires me to be more athletic and entertaining than technical, to be a star, to play the game, I am going to train to that note. If they are allowed or pushed or required to be other than, will they raise to the bar? You said that guy, was it Scottie Pippen or a different guy who was like, the athleticism being displayed now is different from what was being displayed 20 years ago, because the inspiration was set, the bar was set, and people said, I want to be better. Who's setting the bars? And if you're going to relegate them to being technical, maybe we change what we relegate them to. Maybe we say we'll call less fouls and let it play out, because, and I don't know how completely different or similar these are. At one point, when Shorty Mia Hamm was playing soccer, women's soccer was killing it. Men's soccer couldn't win for nothing, but men were still getting paid more. And men's soccer was getting paid more. And for what reason? I think they've rectified that. But women were bringing home, was it the World Cup or something like that?
Yeah, that was because of the contract that they signed, though, that they asked for. But that's another conversation.
Right, but my point is, you have the athleticism shown, you have the wins shown when you push and say this is what athleticism is. A soccer field is huge.
But athleticism doesn't always sell tickets. It's being able to do something that other people can't do. And I agree with you on the women's soccer tip. What I'm saying is that women's basketball and men's basketball doesn't necessarily have that same advantage.
But could it? If we said we want to be entertained, are you not amused? No. So amuse me. And would they rise to the occasion?
And this is where I say because so many fans of athletics are casual fans.
Right.
Miss what the conversation that we're having. The WNBA is plenty entertaining. Plenty athletic. Plenty fundamentally sound. It's good basketball. It's good to watch. But
that's not for the casual fan, though. Again, that's for the more astute fan like us.
What is the casual fan looking for?
The casual fan is looking for what he said. Something I can't do myself.
I couldn't possibly think to be able to do.
Because the 90% of WNBA players can't dunk a basketball. That's something that 97% of real people can't do. They can't dunk a basketball. We can all shoot a basketball. Even if you can't shoot well, there's the goal. I got to throw the ball at it, and you can do that. And the summer league is in Vegas. So to the casual fan, they're just I'm watching women do what I do in my driveway, and it doesn't
or what you can watch at the local high school or the local college,
Summer league look like high school.
It does.
It does.
But they're still dunking.
Are they? Because I see them missing.
No, they're
people are shooting the ball.
They are missing. First of all, we're in the fourth quarter, and the score is 62-74. In an actual NBA game in the fourth quarter, with 5 minutes left, it's going to be 100 to 115. At this point, because of the pace of the NBA. So you can see that there are levels to this.
So what is a WNBA game?
What would I was about to say? What would the score in this point in the fourth quarter be in the WNBA?
As you're asking me, as a real fan of it, if I'm watching the Las Vegas Aces take on the Phoenix Mercury, if I'm watching the Aces take on the LA Sparks, if I'm watching the Washington
Or the
Mystics
Chicago Sky, or
take on the Chicago Sky, I expect the score to be about 80 to 90 points in the fourth quarter. That if I'm looking at the Dallas Stars take on a New York Liberty, that shit could be 64 to 74 or lower. You know what I'm saying? Because the players are not as good for those teams as they are for, and that also exists.
But that's the same. But the same thing is true in the WNBA. I mean, sorry, in the NBA, right? A Golden State Warriors game, you expect them to put up 130, 140.
The lesser teams in the NBA, but then that might be the difference. The lesser teams in the NBA are going to score less than other teams, but they can still light you up for 120 points in a full game, but they're probably going to lose 120 to 135 because they can't stop anything. You know what I'm saying? So, like, at least for the losing efforts in an NBA game, you're getting more points because the pace is pushed, the athleticism is higher. And that's like a lot of the argument. Like, they're losing.
I feel like people just don't want to like the WNBA.
That.
Like, because what
But it's probably that too, I'm sure.
Because honestly, what I'm hearing, like, I think of footballs. There are times where you get to halftime and there's like a point and a half on the board because they've only had, a touchdown. They missed the field goal. They didn't intercept the ball. Someone's fumbled and ran it back down the field. Like, right. And no one's saying they're not worthy of filling stadiums, even though can't nobody score before the end of the first quarter. Ain't no points on the board. But because women are scoring less points, it's like.
But to be fair though, when the fellas, so the San Antonio Spurs are an example of a team that played fundamental basketball and won championships and were not popular, right? They didn't generate the same type of revenue or income. They weren't as big of a market, even though they dominated basically from 1999 to 2015 or so. They pretty much dominated the Western Conference. They won 5 championships in that time frame. I don't think anybody else out in the West came close except for maybe the Lakers. So but they played fundamental basketball, but there weren't a whole lot of eyes on them. People weren't excited to see them play unless you were in San Antonio. So I think the facts are that even when it is the men, fundamental basketball is not as entertaining as being able to shoot from the logo.
Marketing and capitalism seem to be driving this industry. You have your franchise players, you have your franchise teams, and so that's the case. So that's why I'm like, is it a marketing issue? Do you need people to stop playing fundamental basketball and start being exceptional?
And that's why I say
that's the thing. But you're gonna pay exceptional money to see exceptional things. No, you're not gonna pay exceptional money to see regular shit. And nothing. And right. what I'm saying is, again, to the casual fan, what would be perceived as regular shit. And I get it. WNBA, they are super technical, super skilled.
Yes, it's literally expected versus exceptional. If you're a professional player, I am expecting you to be better than me. I am expecting you to put
not just better. You got to be like you have to be worth the money you're being paid. In my opinion, I got to be able to be. I got to be able to watch and say, "Oh, I see why they paid that guy $10 million a year to play basketball."
I still don't see why they.
And for me, like because this is the conversation. Because it starts with me as a school teacher. I like high school sports exists for 1 million kids. When then those million kids go to college and there are only 250,000 positions for that sport at the collegiate level.
Yeah.
You hit the professional level, that 250,000 gets narrowed down to 400 jobs.
Are there really only 400 basketball players?
There are 450 NBA players.
Are there really?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it?
There are
That's
another 450-esque G League players.
Like G League players,
The league, you know what I'm saying? The call-up league for the NBA. So if you're the next best thing, then you're in the G League and you get called up from there, which happens when like big name players or players in the NBA get injured. They have to fill these roster spots, so they call up G League players. So between the NBA and the G League, that's 900 jobs for 250,000 college students who played the same sport.
Yeah.
So like the worst.
This is the best of the best.
The worst NBA player is 1,000,000 times better than the best G League player. He's better than the best NCAA player, and he sits on the bench. He don't get in unless the team is up by 40 points. He don't get in unless the team has got injury after injury after injury. He don't get in.
Does he get paid?
He get paid.
He gets paid,
At the minute, like the NBA minimum is a $1.9 million contract.
What?
Yeah. The veteran,
meanwhile, wasn't Brittany? What's her last name? Brittany Griner. Wasn't she making like 220?
No,
the WNBA makes less money than LeBron James.
Well, I'm not worried about LeBron. I'm talking about G League.
No. I think what I'm saying is they can't pay Brittany Griner that much because they make less money than a player.
Well, why is somebody riding the bench for 22 weeks making more than a professional WNBA player who don't ride the bench?
Because the league doesn't make enough money to support that.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't like that.
But I mean,
what do you mean? Wait. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Like, I got it. We have
okay.
There's literally no control over that. So if like again, everything is relative. So while we're watching the summer league, there are companies who understand that we're watching summer league. That there are people who will fly to Las Vegas just to see rookies before they actually get into the NBA because they want to touch the hem of their garment before they hit an NBA floor. Yep. So like because companies understand that, I'm going to pour millions of dollars into the summer league just to have my commercials advertised.
Is the WNBA better than the summer league?
No.
Really?
I'm not even trying to be funny.
No, again, I'm asking real questions.
No. I feel you.
Someone in the one of the listeners.
Okay, let me temper. I actually will not say no. The WNBA is probably on par with summer league.
Are they making summer league money?
The WNBA is making more than summer league money.
But are they better than them?
They're on par.
On par.
If you're asking me, skill level.
Are they in entertainment value? Are they objectively on par?
Because this looks like a high school game.
I don't know. I'm not watching the game. Okay, fair enough.
So skill level, WNBA is better than summer league.
Okay, fair enough.
With the exception of, I would say, your top 15 picks in the draft who go to the summer league to start to get ready for the NBA. So the top 15 picks, they're fantastic. WNBA could not touch them with a 10-foot pole. Like, it's not happening. Because, again, that's real because the top 15 picks in the NBA draft are the elite.
They are the best of the 250,000.
My brain struggles to quantify and qualify that as accurate information. I'm going to take y'all word for it because y'all really, know what y'all talking about, but it does not make sense to my mind.
So to put it in perspective, the number 2 pick in the NBA draft is 7 feet tall. He's 170 pounds soaking wet. So by all standards, he's weaker, smaller, weighs less than 99% of NBA players. That boy his bounces out the gym already is 7 feet. So like if he puts his hands in the air, he's already touching the rim. But he can also jump high, so he will dunk over top of you while already being 7 feet with long arms. Can still, as a 7-footer, dribble the ball up the court, which is traditionally only left to the people who are like 6'5" and under. And he can like shoot the way a 6'6", 6'7" person does.
What does your height have to do with your shooting?
That like typically larger players focus more on their inside game, so they're not good outside shooters. He's called a unicorn because he can do it all. That's the second pick in this draft. He can dunk, he can dribble, he can shoot, he can pass. There's nothing he can't do. The second pick, which means there was a person who was drafted before him who does better than that. Realistically, the pick who came after him, the third pick, was projected to be the number 1 pick and just did not get picked first because the team who drafted number 1 wanted something different. So literally the first 5 picks in the draft actually could have gone number 1 depending on what you wanted. These players are better by light years coming out of college than any WNBA player. No exaggeration. I'm just saying that
sounds ridiculous. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying.
Why does it sound ridiculous?
That sounds ridiculous because to a non-sports fan, the NBA, I'm going to naturally assume, because I've shot a ball before, it's hard. I'm going to assume the athleticism, like you guys said, is just a notch or 2 above WNBA. I would still think that it requires the same level, or at least the same caliber of technical skill, athleticism to get into the WNBA. Like you have to be cream of the crop, top tier talent. And so to be told that these kids coming out of college are light years ahead and better than these women who've been playing, who've had like a LeBron career, like.
But they haven't though.
Well, not, when I say a LeBron career,
they actually have.
I mean, like a 17-year career.
Well, okay.
And so, like, not even the 17-year career part. I'm saying,
Stu Bird's career was similar to that. I saw the side-by-side comparison to that.
But what I guess, like, what she's saying, and she doesn't know she's saying it. A player, if you're asking me, I would rather take a 4-year UConn WNBA player than I would rather take a 1-year Kentucky.
I knew you were going to say Kentucky.
NCAA player. Because under Gino Auriemma, that WNBA player has literally learned the game at its fundamental best, has practiced against, because like I watched the and this was like 15, 20 years ago, where they showed how UConn's players like prepare for the year. UConn's players, their women's players, practice against men, like, and they find the most physically gifted men on the campus to just play basketball that aren't like UConn men's basketball players, but like they're like built like football players, and that's who the women go up against in practice to be able to compete at the highest level. They're competing against men and cooking them.
But they're not. But are they competing against the UConn men's team?
They're not competing against the men's team.
I get that they're competing against the men, but
because regulations and that's an NCAA thing. Regulations
that's fair.
That a women's team cannot compete against a men's team who is like signed to be, you know what I'm saying, like they're representatives of the school, so they can't. But they find like the same men that the men would scrimmage against, the women scrimmage against, and they hold like I watch those practices. They hold no prisoners, so the men knock them over. They like elbow them, they hit them, they scratch them, they like do all the things that they would to a men's team, so that the women can get ready.
Scratching a basketball game, you a whore.
I'm just not like an intentional scratch.
I know.
Wipe at a ball and I scratch your skin. Like that's the same conditions that UConn women's goes up against to get ready, which is why UConn's women's program is more successful than their men's program because they're trained better. So like I do subscribe to women's basketball being more prepared over time. It's just the physical giftedness of a man allows them to be NBA ready in a year, whereas you got to do 3 or 4 years of women's basketball to be ready for the professional setting. But you're more technically sound.
What is that if I'm not getting the check?
You ain't going. Listen.
It's relevant.
Listen.
That's relative.
All of that is great, but none of it has to do with whether or not somebody will pay to watch you play. That's where the money comes from. Yeah. Whether or not people will pay to watch you.
Reality.
No, and I get that.
That's what it boils down to.
I don't respect it, but I get it.
But again, it's one of those things. Is like none of us have to like it, but that's the way it is. Like if market value by definition is what the market is willing to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? So bottom line, it doesn't matter that they have I agree. I love UConn's women. I was been a fan of UConn's women's team for a long time. Followed them for a long time. The Lady Vols too. We're under Pat Summitt. Followed them for a long time. These are some great teams with some great players with some incredible athletes that can do some. You said what?
Maryland.
Yeah.
Been top 5 for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
South Carolina, like these are great women's programs.
Great. Like, but and women's college basketball has been successful. The question is, does that translate to the professional leagues? So far that I can tell, the answer has been no. Ultimately, it's about whether or not people will pay for it, period. It doesn't matter the skill set. It doesn't matter that they've been playing as long as they've been playing. It doesn't matter they've been trained as hard as they've been trained. None of that matters if nobody's going to pay to watch you play.
I had a question.
Yeah.
What does the fourth quarter UConn women's scoreboard look like?
It depends on who they're playing.
Actually, I can very accurately pull this one together. Fourth quarter UConn women's basketball.
Second half, because there's no fourth quarter.
Second half. It looks like 100 to 50. They dominated, like unless they're playing at South Carolina or you know what I'm saying? Their games.
They had epic battles with Tennessee.
They're blowing women out of like every other women's program out of the water. So they're up by 40, 50 points. The
refs calling fouls and whatever else
they're calling everything like normal. But
they're just outclassing everybody.
Like they're so far ahead of everyone else that you just gotta take that L.
And have been for years.
You know? Yeah, and it's been that way for years, like 20 plus years. UConn's women have been dominating their sport, you know. And before that, it was Tennessee, and right now it's a revolution. So like UConn is like the second, third best right now, but they're like still blowing teams out. So it's like South Carolina, Notre Dame, UConn, Maryland. You know, like that's the four. That's the four.
And you know, and they've been that for like a couple decades.
Yeah.
Why is he touching that?
Because recruitment, like, you know, players who see where the best are, they want to go there to learn to be the best. So like you're getting strong recruiting classes coming in that keeps your school viable. And it's rare that you get a player to subscribe to a program that's less than, especially in a market where you know you have to be in the upper echelon in order to get quickly to the goal of financial independence. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a rarity. So Elena Deladon, who plays for the Washington Mystics, went to the University of Delaware, even though she was offered scholarship by UConn, South Carolina, Notre Dame, Maryland. Like, she could have chose her school. She went to Delaware because her little sister has like a severe medical condition that's had her wheelchair bound since the day she was born. So like she wanted to be close to home to be close. So she chose Delaware, but she carried as the most elite player in the country at the time she went to college. She carried Delaware to a place that they had never been before by herself. And now she plays for the Mystics. She didn't get drafted by the Mystics, but again, she wanted to be in proximity to her sister. So as soon as her contract ran out for the team that drafted her, she went to the closest WNBA team.
She's from here?
She from Delaware. But Maryland, DC is as close to Delaware as you're going to get for a WNBA team. So, she's always choosing to be close to home, which the Mystics won the WNBA championship 3 years ago. One of those. We're fresh off the WNBA championship, but
I feel like people who love the NBA are doing it because they feel like they're supposed to. Because if you're not, and I'm not saying you have to be an expert at your hobby or your interest, but if you could effectively get the same thing from the women's sport, I think you're just following the men's sport because, it seems like the thing to do because it's already the popular thing.
I think I disagree with that. I think they're so. I think people, you're willing to part with your funds for something that you believe is worth parting with your funds for, right?
But it's already less expensive.
Right. It is already less expensive, but again, that we're talking about the learned basketball fan or the learned basketball fan like me or Kev versus the casual fan. The casual fan is not going to love the game or appreciate the game enough to part with their money for regular, what would be considered to be regular fundamental basketball. That's a lot of the challenge. I don't think they have a marketing issue. I don't think they have a support issue. The NBA supports them. Most men that watch and pay attention to basketball support them. Again, we're talking about the casual fan. The casual fan is going to be the one that troll and say, "Oh, well, they can't dunk." But again, that's the casual fan. A regular basketball fan isn't going to say that. So the question I think really for the WNBA is how can they make the sport more entertaining that the casual player, the casual fan wants to get involved with it. In my opinion, I don't think their political stance in promoting the LGBT ideology and stuff like that, I don't think that's doing them any favors, in my opinion. But the question is really, how do you get more eyes on the product and people that become fans of players or teams or and they want to pay the money to go see them. I didn't catch the All-Star game, Kev. I think you did see the All-Star game, or at least the weekend, right?
I saw the All-Star game after the fact, just because the All-Star game came on hella early. And I mean, again, I get it. They're competing with baseball right now, with
which is more popular.
A lot of sports, but they showed the All-Star game at 2 p.m. So I had to watch the playback, which it was good. Again, if you have the very best of your league, you're going to get a good product. So, but if you're expecting the WNBA to look like the NBA, it's just not. But they follow,
and that's okay.
And
that's it's more than okay for me. But that's what we've been talking about. The casual fan says, I expect the best player in your league to do the same thing that the best player in my league does, and that's an unrealistic expectation. But the All-Star game was great. It was probably the best WNBA All-Star game that I've seen. The weekend in general, the activities, and they followed the same kind of script. The All-Star teams got to draft their players, so you had the captains picking against each other. The three-point contest was historical because the winner, which I believe was Allie Quigley, has done it for 3 years in a row. That's literally never happened in the NBA or WNBA.
Or the WNBA, neither one, yeah.
So prolific as a shooter that she's gone back to back to back in, in this contest. So It's exciting stuff to see if you love the game for what it is.
Right.
Fair.
But again, the casual fan though,
they don't.
The casual fan is what drives the revenue.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's the thing. For those that don't know, I'm a WWE fan, lifelong. Watched it since I was a kid. What the difference between the product now versus the product then is that the casual fan doesn't know what the shit is going on today. Whereas the casual fan at least knew who Stone Cold Steve Austin was, at least knew who The Rock was, at least knew who The Undertaker was, and at least wanted them to win or get their ass kicked, one or the other, right? So you at least had that. Over time, it was John Cena, but John Cena was all they had. John Cena was the only household name. Now it's Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. That's about it. So the casual fan is like, I know this guy, I know this guy, I know that guy, but I don't know who the shit any of these other people are. So if one of these other guys are on the marquee, if their name is, the main event tonight is this person versus this person, but the casual fan has no clue who that person is, they're not going to go watch it. They're not going to care to part with their money for it. They're not going to care to spend thousands of dollars over a weekend to see it. And again, make no mistake about it, the casual fan support is what drives the brand, and the brand's revenue is what allows you to pay your players or your staff. The only reason the WNBA players don't get paid the same as NBA players is because they don't generate the same revenue. And that's because the casual fan is not as engaged as maybe a more learned fan, a more astute fan.
I can understand that.
So that's that. I like to point that out. I'm glad we had this conversation. We about to wrap it up, but I'm glad we had this conversation. The reason being because I often get engaged in this conversation with people on social media, and sometimes just in general conversation. And I want to be very clear. I support the WNBA. I want them to be successful. I want them to make millions of dollars. I have 3 girls. Okay. I'm a girl dad. I would love for them to be able to say, hey man, I want to go to the NBA or the WNBA rather, and make millions of dollars without having to go over to Russia to make it. I would love for something like that to happen. But some things have to change in order for that to happen. The money doesn't come from nowhere. It has to come from somewhere. You don't get paid LeBron James money just because you have a skill set. The money has to come from somewhere.
I mean, that's all. And this is capitalism. Like, this is what it is. It's like you said, it's your market value and what people are willing to pay with minimal knowledge of even what you can do. Casual fans can't really tell you what Steph Curry's last 3 awards were or what his game, like who he played against the last 3 times. They can list his name. They're going to buy his jersey because he's the franchise player and he's a star player, and that makes them feel more connected to something that they're interested in.
Well, and they know he's the greatest shooter that God's ever created. Like that tagline in and of itself is enough. So you pay money to go see the greatest shooter of all time. He's got every 3-point record in the NBA. So yeah, you're gonna pay huge sums of legitimate money to go see the man who has all the shooting records.
I didn't know that. That's really impressive.
Yeah. I totally would. It makes sense to me. So, but again, I want them to be successful. I think they should stay away from politicizing their league. In my opinion, I think they should stay away from that. I don't think that does them, because I don't think it does them any favors. I don't think it makes them any more money. I don't think it makes them any more profitable. Does it make them any more marketable? Does it make them any more appealing to the casual fan? So I think they should stay out of the pointing out that, the majority of the league is, a lesbian. I think that's cool, but who you sleep with isn't going to translate into dollars necessarily. So I think they should stay away from that. I think they should let their skill set and their game speak for itself, and let the stuff that happens in their league speak for itself, versus saying that, versus suggesting rather that people should support them because they're women and women go through so much and they go through this and that and the men get paid more and they go through as much and all that kind of crap. I think you should stay away from that crap and let your game and your league speak for itself.
Okay. I can respect it.
Yeah. Also, they might be able to do some things within the rules. I don't know. Maybe you asked about, is the net the same height or is the court the same height? The average height in the NBA, what is it, Kev? Like 6'3", 6'4", average height? Maybe 6'5"?
In the NBA or WNBA?
Yeah. In the NBA.
Now, the average height in the NBA is closer to 6'6", 6'7".
Okay. So the average person is 6'6", 6'7". They're on a 10-foot court. What's the average height in the WNBA?
It's probably closer to 6 foot.
Average is 6 feet.
Would 6 inches make a difference on lowering the court?
Trust me, that's 6 inches.
There was no other way to frame it.
Make a difference? Yes, it does.
Would they be able to reach? Could they dunk if you lowered the court relative to the average height?
I still think you would have the vast majority of WNBA players who could dunk that.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I think they'd have to lower it. They'd have to lower it to probably 9 feet or 8.5 or something like that.
Would that be less
versus
than
10 feet? Yeah, the regulation is 10 feet.
It would.
Would that be less entertaining?
I don't think so.
I don't think it would be less entertaining, but
it would just give them more ammo to be trolls.
No.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, I think that probably be true. That's a good point.
Ammo, and it's going to take WNBA players out of their natural life because they've been practicing on 10-foot courts their entire life. So now you're asking me to shoot on something 2 feet lower. Like when I built muscle memory for a 10-foot court, like that, it changes everything.
10 feet just doesn't look that high when these tall men are doing it.
Well, that's because they're tall men doing it.
And I mean, I get that. I'm just looking like, and I never knew it was 10 feet. It just doesn't look like it's 10 feet when you're watching it.
Yeah. You got cats that can reach 8 feet and can jump 4 feet.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's really high. Because I got like a good 18 inches in me. I got like a 1.5 foot of how far I can leave the ground.
But you know what though, and that's again back to Kev's point. When I was in high school, I had a 4-foot vertical. You know what I'm saying? Like I could do that. So, and I was not by any stretch the most athletically gifted person on the court, but I could jump. So there's that in and of itself. There were people who were technically sound, athletically gifted, and could jump at least as high as I could. Those are the ones that went to the NBA. They went to the league. Those are the ones that people packed the gym to go see because they couldn't believe it. Wasn't nobody packing the gym to come see me grab some rebounds. I could do grabbing some rebounds, grab the shit out some rebounds. I could block the hell out some shots. I could dunk on a few people.
Lane? Know your lane.
I know my lane. That's what I'm saying. That's what it is. I know what it was. Nobody wasn't paying to see me just randomly jump high and grab a few rebounds. But they paid to see that guy jump from the foul line because he could grab rebounds too. I'm just saying. Y'all over there talking shit. I see it.
Yeah, no one wanted to come see you grab rebounds. I said you wanted to say balls.
Grabbing balls.
Yeah, I did want to say grabbing balls, but that's not. I thought about it in mid-statement. I'm not drunk enough to have let that slip out. So
I heard it. I heard the mild stumble. I remember I told you about like the grammar and stuff. My brain picks up on like the minimal things, the minuscule.
Yep.
Free the people.
That's it, yo. Yes. That's it. We've been at this for a minute. It is now tomorrow. Richrda, thank you so much for joining us here on Up to It, Down to It, man. We gotta have you come back again, ASAP. We love you in the comments. There she goes. Profile. Check her out, man. Check her out on SoMomBlog.com. Check her out. There she go. Y'all managed to freeze frame right there. That's impressive. You think their whole shit is frozen now, don't you? You think it probably did. The Wi-Fi's busted. No, I'm playing. All right. Guys, once again, man, thank y'all for coming. Richrda, thank you for coming by. We love you. We love you in the comments, man. Absolutely, Kev, man. One more time. Nine's held it down. That's what we do, baby. Big shout out again, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, man. Tell your friends. We'll be on again next Friday. We're going to be playing in a live show very soon. So get ready. We're going to be in person and it's going to get crazy. We out. We out. Enjoy y'all night. Holla at y'all.